Because there is a very defining point in how the magic system works in Final Fantasy, right? And it's usually under an elemental clause. So that's usually how the world is affected by some sort of element, and then extrapolated from there to create a greater effect. At least that is the idea. So let's see how well we hold up. And how, like, the elemental wheel works, which would be like earth, water, wind, fire, ice, thunder. Let me take those backwards. So, earth beats water. Water is strong to earth. Yeah, earth beats water. That water beats earth. That seems a little weird, right? Wind beats fire. Fire. What element actually works with what element? And then, of course, there is light and dark, which embodied three elements combined. Light is earth, wind, ice. Dark is water, fire, thunder. Earth beats wind. Wind beats ice. Ice beats water. Water beats fire. Fire beats thunder? I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out. Well, light tends to be more defensive. Dark tends to be more offensive. Doesn't mean the other one can't, but it is very much a it can, and it dominantly falls on one of those sides. But I think that's pretty much as we have for it. So, without any ado, let's get into it, boys. Here we go.
Hey, Momo. See, with that, I now understand that you, as a character, like your element lightning, are volatile but powerful, with your anger prone to get out of control. This has been a lesson in elemental magic. Good evening, everyone. It is 2021. Welcome to the channel, a place of refuge and certainty in these hard times. Because unlike other places in the world, here on Hello Future Me, we have a stable political system not prone to coups, and our supreme Empress Momo. All hail Momo. Elemental magic systems are like your average office water cooler. They're cool, and they've got water. I know it was a bad joke, don't get fired up about it. And I know why you would want to write one. When I was 13, I wrote this fantasy book,
which will never see the light of day,
about these 4 kids who could all control one element, and they were called guardians, and the main guy controlled air, and they could go into this rage mode called status. As you can tell, originality was my strong suit, but let's talk about how you might do one well nowadays. Oh, and do you like reading, and do you have ears? Well, now you can read my book on writing and world building with your ears. It's an audiobook. #1 bestseller on this channel's bestseller list. It's already sold 23,000 copies, and everyone knows that books that sell well must be good. It's also read by some really cool people, Larissa and Murph, you might know them. It's got like all of the on writing and world building chapters in an easy to read and reference book. So, you know, links down below, and not just on Amazon, it's on a bunch of different places that aren't owned by Amazon if you don't want to give money to them, because people wanted that. Cool, links down below. I don't mean to be a downer, but
Elemental magic systems aren't that original.
Yo,
but come on,
cute
we
muffin,
are
how's
used
it
to deploying
going?
4 or 5 elements all over the place. So, here are 2 ways to be more original with an elemental magic system.
See, and that's the thing, is we don't exactly have to be original. We just have to conform to whatever the standards Final Fantasy has set for a magic system type. So thus, for instance, the 6 main elements with 2 additional elements combining in the either side of that element, light or dark. And everything else just kind of falls into place with, like, the spell list of Final Fantasy, right? It's just the explaining how the effect works in the real world to allow it to do what it does, such as haste, right? It's like, how does haste work? And like we experimented with earlier, like a couple months ago, with like a couple of magic system things. It took me 3 stream restarts to get the audio working. Damn, Muffin. Well, it's working because I'm lurking in there, and I was watching before the stream, because I noticed you went live just before me. Hopped in there and checked that out. So yeah, glad to see the audio's working. That's great, right? One more step in the right direction, huh? Hell yeah. If only I could get all of my shit together and fixed. And that's like not tomorrow, but the next day's. Well, technically tomorrow because it is Tuesday now. Wednesday's job because Wednesday is my day off. So, but like I said, with like higher level, or like just the way that Husai is, Husai specifically, the way that he categorizes spells in his head based on that tier system we were talking about like 2 days ago or so, is what makes him like more powerful at magic, because he's compartmentalized in his mind what each spell limits. So when he's casting Fire 1, it doesn't, it's like exactly how much mana it's going to take from him, and exactly how to instantly cast the spell, essentially. Whereas other people have a cast time, whereas Husai's cast time is like significantly reduced compared to what other people's would be, because of how he works with his whatchamacallit, like his mind with magic. So other people are like, oh shit, well, it doesn't really go down that far of a lane with, like every time they're casting a spell, they have to make sure that they're focusing enough to not have the spell basically go out of control. Whereas Husai is like, and it's like one of his things, like he's literally written a book about it, and all of this shit. Oh, also I got banned in one of my favorite channels because of my age, and I surpassed them in follower count. Good for you, Muffin. I mean, if Twitch allows you on the platform, because on Twitch you have to be 13 plus, and you're over 13, like, that shouldn't be a reason for someone to ban you in their channel, because Twitch is allowing you on the platform. Hello, what you chatting about? Skylar, welcome, welcome. We are talking about the magic system in my book. other than that, we're talking about Cute Muffin's stream because, like I said, I told him he needs to start streaming because he's going to pop the fuck off. And, like, he is popping the fuck off. And it's great to see. I'm super glad for him. It's like he's got something that people are actually really, really want to watch. And me getting banned for almost no reason. Yeah, some people are just ridiculous, Muffin. I mean, it sucks that it's one of your favorite channels, too. It's like, that's how you alienate people in your channel and you stop growing. That's why, unfortunately, I don't know if you were here for it yesterday, Muffin, but Valiant Boy is no longer a mod. Yeah. I guess somehow he thought somewhere in his head that me and Toe Connoisseur making fun of him was like us ganging up on him or something like that because we were just bantering. And he banned Toe Connoisseur. So I was like, okay. I respect it though, just have to wait another 4 years. Wait, huh? See, it's not like you can help it. It's not your fault that your age is whatever your age is. It's like, that's kind of bullshit. Right? Especially because, like, I would consider you, like, extremely mature for your age. Like, if you didn't say how old you were, I would think you were, like, 25. Or maybe 21 because of, like... Not saying Trackmania is not, like, you know... But it's, like... It's a younger man's game, right? it's a reflex game. More so than, like, an FPS or anything like that. But yeah. So... Valiant Boy did not take it very well, but I told him multiple times, don't ban people. And he banned him. And I was like, okay. I was like, even you know! He's not a mod anymore. He was. But he's not anymore. I told him, like, 3 weeks ago, man, if you take any more mod actions, such as banning anyone, then I'm gonna have to take your badge and gun. And last night, without even saying, I said, if you have a problem, DM me, come to me, talk to me, go on the Discord, like, say something. He just outright banned Toe Connoisseur. And then Toe Connoisseur left the channel. And I was like, what? God damn it, Valium. So he's actually, like, costing the integrity of my stream. So we had to take his mod away. Unfortunately. But, I mean, he's still got artist and he's still got editor. He just can't ban people because he's too trigger happy. And when, like, I'm bantering with people, I can't have him fucking randomly banning them because he thinks they're making fun of him. That's not, you're abusing your power, bro. That's not how it works. Unfortunately. I'll message him, ask about it. Yeah, he was like, well, what am I supposed to do if someone's, like, making fun of me and stuff? And I was like, me and Eggy were talking about specifically you, Muffin, with, like, how we were making fun of you with the pictures that he sent you. And then Eggy, you were like, stop, and we stopped. Because you asked us to stop, and you made it clear that that was something that bothered you. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, we won't make fun of you for that. Like, that's just, yeah, like... But he just keeps banning people in the chat for no fucking reason. I didn't even see it. And then Eggy was like, wait, Toe's banned? And I looked up, and I was like, for fuck's sakes, Valium Boy. And it was, like, right at the end of the stream, too. So I had to, like, call him out, take away his mod, put him in the corner... and say, it's okay, but you just can't do that. And we've been through this. So. A little sad. And he didn't take it very well, but that's okay. You know, told him to go smoke a joint and come back tomorrow, and we can discuss it if he wants on the Discord. But. It is what it is. As for the magic system. It's not like I'm just going to write down every spell and how it works, right? Because there's a way that Husai would think that the spell works, and then there's a way that everyone else individually would think that a spell works, right? And it's all, like, the idea is, again, consciousness through intent. So, like, I was thinking today about the idea of, you know, every particle essentially has consciousness, right? I guess that's why I have my mod thing about only warning, and if it escalates... only I can ban. Yeah, it's like, if there's a problem and something doesn't get solved and you need to ban someone, we have the option to. But it's the ban is the nuclear option. It's not our go-to. We time out before we even ban. And then Valiant Boy's like, oh, I only banned him for like 60 seconds. And I'm like, yeah, but it's the principle. That it looks bad when your mods are banning people that disagree with them. Especially in an area where I'm trying to cultivate a culture of people bantering with each other. And, like, specifically me, like, making fun of myself and being like, oh, I'm the worst streamer, I'm a fucking retard. Like, you know, my mods aren't really great mods, lol. They're only lurking when there are bots. Yeah, I mean, I just, like, I'm here, had to go Winco to get cat food. Nice, Sean, welcome. We were just, discussing Valiant Boy and my magic system and how the elements kind of work into it because it's based off of Final Fantasy, right? So it's like the magic system is generally based in an elemental status, and then that element works in some way. So we were saying specifically with like towards intent. If every particle has an intent, then when you cast magic, the magic that you cast is conscious, right? I didn't know you had cats, unless you're the one eating it. Oh no! Sean always says he's got a cat mouth to feed. It's King James, right, Sean? If I am correct, I believe at least one of them is called King James. If not just James, and then just added. Yeah, I got one named Daisy. She's a little runt black, cutest fucking thing. She's super talkative, and she will not leave you alone. So just follow you and go meow 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 meow. I'm like, wow, that was a really nice day there, Daisy. Any cat except for Sphinx are cute. Hell yeah, brother. Reach it. Cats are epic. And as Sean stated, they own you. You don't own a cat, they own you. You are their slave. You're their pet. But anyways, so specifically I owned by 5 King James, Queen Violet, their daughter, the goddess Aphrodite, the Empress of Nihonja, aka Ninja, and his royal hind-ass King Richard of the Lion's Fart. Nice, Sean, love it. So being original is not necessarily in how the magic system itself works with elements. It's how the characters perceive in conjuring that magic, and how that magic interfaces with consciousness. Owned by a black one. Yup. See, they own most of society, I would say.
It's not the elements, but how you use them narratively.
True!
The great thing about elemental magic is that we already have these cultural associations with each element. Fire and anger, water and healing, life and energy. This makes it really easy to code characters and things in your world with ideas and personality traits.
A couple on YouTube that have, I think, about 10. Kittysaurus is the name, I think. Japanese. Sounds about right. Japanese have an actual real problem with, like, invasive house cat species.
The character Arrow.
Because they have a lot, like, they use a lot of natural things for, like, things that we would use technology for, such as, like, koi fish for, like, purifying their water and stuff, but the cats attack the koi fish and kill the koi fish, so it's actually a huge problem in Japan.
Erebos in The Dragon Prince is aligned with the stars, and the writers use how we
love to
project
go
a
to a
sense
cat
of
cafe.
wonder,
That would be
awe,
sick.
power, mystery that we find in the night sky to inspire these same feelings in this equally mysterious character. Zuko's firebending is an analogue for his hot-headedness and struggles with anger throughout the series, while Katara's motherly and healing character is expressed through her waterbending. By using these natural assumptions that we as readers all have, elemental magic creates a more visceral and visual way of exploring and manifesting these character traits. Magic can become an analogue for character growth, struggles, attributes, right from the beginning of your story, and you can more easily pull readers into caring about your characters because of it. We don't have this natural connection with, say, the power of the witches in the Northern Lights to separate from their daemon. We don't really know what this means for who they are, what they believe, what their personalities are like. So understanding who they are because of it takes Philip Pullman a lot more time to explain in the story. And it's not just about characters, but dynamics between your characters. Common tropes connected to elemental magic are the 5-man band and the power trio. You'll know them, you've seen them in a ton of stories, I promise. These are common character setups. You've got the leader, the lancer, the smart guy, the big guy, and the heart of the group.
Yup.
They all fill a specific emotional or narrative.
Okay, let's see. So we got Husai. Probably Gluttony. No. I think this would be Varius. No, smart guy is Varius. Who's the Lancer? I mean, maybe it's Walker? And the heart is the Viceroy. Gotta get back to it. See ya. Sounds good, Muffin. Good luck. Have fun, brother. Keep at it. I believe in you, buddy. Keep pressing on. Next thing you know, you'll be way above me, brother. Okay, so we need to turn that expectation on its head. Make the fire mage the calm one and the ice mage the violently aggressive. Well, see, that's the thing, Sean, is that there's not really like an emphasis for personality behind like the elements. It's more like the light and dark tendencies. Like we've got
Roll and can
the elemental wheel, which is earth, water, wind, fire, ice, thunder. So basically earth is weak against water, water is strong against earth, and then you just keep doing that and it's like a circle, right? And then earth, wind, and ice are all light, which have like earth is like defensive, wind is like barriers, so this is like physical defense, magical defense, and ice is actually this this is actually water and this is ice. Earth, wind, and water. So you got defensive, like physical defense, magical defense, healing. Like passive damage, active damage, and like debuffs, right? Like ice is like debuffs, fire is damage, and thunder is like dots. Ice is definitely more defensively themed than air. I think it should be earth, water, and ice. And do wind, fire, thunder. Have 2 weak, 1 strong. And then 1 weak and 2 strong. Because usually these are weaker offensive attacks. But they're stronger defensive attacks. And then these are the opposite. Like you're thinking like earth is like stone skin. Water is like healing. Ice, I guess, is also like a magical barrier. Those would be right for determining defensive, offensive themed elements, but it does break the symmetry. At the end of the day, as long as there's only 3 and 3, because it's like light is a combination of all 3 of these, and dark is a combination of all 3 of these. So like your highest level, like rift, fissure, implodes are of a dark and light, where you have 3 different rifts on top of each other, and then 3 different fissures on top of each other, and then you implode all 3 of them at the same time. It's like a unison attack, basically. And it has to be timed basically perfectly, but like slightly offset. So like the fissures are beside each other so they don't actually overlap, and then the rifts can break all of the fissures open. Oh, only the grooviest wizard can master earth, wind, and fire. I'm retarded. Okay, TTS is on. It always takes one! I wish at one point in time it would just leave it open, but it don't, and it's sad. Okay. And the stronger the character is, the stronger you can make their things, right? Like doing like a Stone Skin 2 or something like that. But, yeah, this seems like our basic group.
Do things that nobody else in the group really can. Elemental magic, for obvious reasons, fits in pretty well with this. By dividing the elements between characters, you give everyone a unique role, and you can tie in how the characters relate to one another to how their elements relate to one another. The smart guy might let his intellect get in the way of him being empathetic and kind, while the heart might let her emotions get in the way of her being smart. The show Witch does exactly this, with Irma being the big guy and having her controlling the earth element, while Heylin is the heart of the group and she controls air. These are two opposite people within the group and they have two opposite elements. In contrast, the power trio might have two characters who are diametrically opposed. They typically disagree and so they have fire and water, and then one person caught in between them. Again, you can use these associations to create a magical metaphor of sorts for character relationships, giving them a new way to express it and a new way for you to visualize it in your story. But this is also a weakness. A lot of the reason that elemental magic feels so samey and unoriginal a lot of the time is that authors are using these common associations
Just like
to
Naruto
do the
for
same
real.
character
True.
arcs, and
And that's why it's like, it's not the magic itself, it's how the characters interface with the magic, right? In the way that everyone can cast a fire spell, but everyone's fire spell is different. And that's like, you know, what's the degree temperature of the fire? What's the size of the fire? What's the control of the fire? Is it the flames or is it the heat that you're manifesting the most of, right? So it's like, it could be completely different based upon the character, and not even in the strength. Did you see my previous comment? But individuals have affinities with certain elements due to their own consciousness, right? So ice spirits or whatever trying to calm the savage fury, while the fire spirits are attempting to warm the frigid heart, that sort of thing. Adding to the concept of everything being conscious. Well, true, and there's the fact the grimoires in Black Clover are kind of like this, but a bit more fast and loose since a person's element can kind of be anything. Yeah, exactly. But it has a basis in some way, right? And then it's like, how do you manipulate and work within the confines of that element, right? But that's why it's like there is such a degree of difference between magic. So consistency only remains between characters. And it's not like one as a... it's more of like you have... The affinity towards the element is more of the element falls into the category of what you're in, right? Like if you're, let's say, someone like Husai, who's a melee fighter as well as a mage, then you have, like... And he's, like, not an offensive mage, he's a defensive mage. So he's, like, all about buffing himself and others and, like, rallying and stuff like that. And then same with Gluttony, because he's a paladin. So it's like stacking those on top of each other using the nature of the basis of the personality of the person to show what path they lean towards when it comes to elemental magic. So anyone can use any element, but the element that wants to work with you and is the easiest to use can and maybe should oppose the personality of the caster. It would be unexpected and perfectly fit your narrative. I mean, I could see it for sure. And it's like a social thing too, where people like like, because you know how people, like, love to fight against their nature, right? So that could be a big thing, and then it's like a turning point for the characters when they finally accept who they are, and they're able to use that element to its, like, fullest potential. I really like that idea. It's like a different kind of awakening from a title. It's like an internal awakening to yourself as opposed to an awakening from Gaia. But you have to accept, like, the flaws of who you are because... and, like, stop fighting against your reasonings why you think that this element isn't your main element. I mean, it just adds another multiple layer of, like, stacking buffs, right? And as long as we have some that are base and some that are multiplicative, we can have some insane stat boosts going on, right? And there still is the one, like, problem, which is either duration or, like, that, right? It's something that's like, once you've cast the spell, let's say a defensive spell on someone, like, how long does that defensive spell last? Do you have to continue to, like, put in a little bit of magic in order to keep it alive? So it's like, it's almost like reserving your mana in Path of Exile, where it's like the more spells and more buffs that you cast, the limited mana pool that you have access to at the time. So you have to make sure that your moves are stationed on that. Gremlin Aura 99999. Welcome. Hey there. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. We are discussing how my elemental magic system holds up to the greats, even though our magic system is based off of Final Fantasy. So it kind of narrows down how things are structured, but gives leeway on how characters interact with the magic itself and categorize the magic. And it's different basically for different people. Going, well, that's good to hear. Are you a writer? Do you enjoy stories? Hold up in what way? In the creative, like, thinking process of, like, how can we make this as interesting as possible? How can we weave it into the narrative? How many layers can we add to it? And how well can we adapt it to the complete world itself and make feel completely natural? Good morning, Smokey. How's it going? Welcome. Everyone seems to be popping in right now. It's a good time. I am, by the way. Well, that's good to know. If you want, at any point in time, if you have anything that you want me to read, feel free to hop into the Discord and post it in the public stories if you want me to read it. The angry person who wants the fire explosions to show his rage gets ice and must come to the point in his life where they just say, F it, nothing really matters, the way they thought it did. The slights of their youth were all in their head, and suddenly their ice magic upgrades to 3rd tier, and they can chase the 4th tier, while those who never make that breakthrough are stuck in tier 2 at the highest. Because that's another thing, Sean, is I want Husai to... Maybe it isn't even Husai, but he has, like... It's like... Sure. Sounds good, Gremlin. The thing is, again, it's not 100% how the tier system of magic works, because we're basing everything on Final Fantasy, right? So there's like Fire 1, Fire 2, Fire 3, Fire 4, Fire 5, Fire 6, essentially, right? So all spells have those tiers. Buffs usually go up to 2, and then, like, the 3rd tier is, like, immaculate endgame ridiculousness, right? It's like, tier 1 is 10%, tier 2 is 30%, tier 3 is, like, 90%. It's, like, insane the amount of scaling. That's usually for just, like, defensive things, like Stone Skin. Whereas, like, straight barriers, like defense, like protect and shell, would go up to, like, tier 6, right? And I've always wanted magic circles to be a big part of the book, but I don't think I'm going to actually do that. We talking about scaling now? Yeah, because that's one of the things that's, like, for tiers, like Sean was talking about, right? The way to upgrade tiers and stuff like that, because most of the way that I've used magic is it's very inclined to the person. So, like, for instance, Husai uses the tier systems of, like, separating them in his head so that he can cast lower level spells super easily, essentially. It's like a way of differentiating your fire spells. So when you cast a fire spell, you know the strength and scope of that spell that you're casting. And that keeps the spell from, because there's one problem, which is the spell can get out of hand. And with magic is if you cast too much, like you use too much mana, it basically starts to eat away at your physical body instead of your spirit. So you can physically harm yourself by casting magic. But the way I think about it is, it's like if you could instantly set yourself on fire. So it's like you're casting, you're talking about tiers, you're referring to the VSBW or OVBF tiering systems. Not sure what those stand for, but like, if that's a complicated way of using, like, tier 6 being island level destructive power. Well, it's not so much the scope of area of effect, it's more of the density overall, right? Like, you can have someone who has a fire spell who casts Fire 1 that brings the temperature of a house up to, like, 120 degrees across the entirety of the house, right? Or you could have someone cast Fire 4 that starts as, like, a ball inferno of, like, 300 or 3,000 degrees and then slowly goes outwards and engulfs everything in its wake using the physical reactiveness of the world to catalyze the spell. True, Smokey. True. It's definitely toke time. I don't think we've actually had a toke this stream yet. I ground some, but it doesn't look like I touched the grinder at all. So it is what it is. Yeah, exactly, Gremlin. It's about how focused it is, but that's how the magic works on a level of consciousness. So you use your soul to invoke... No tokes is crazy, bro. I mean, we've been going hard, Smokey. It is what it is, right? 5 minutes ain't that long. You're letting them stack up, Smokey. It's true. Oh. So now the question is, as
Gremlinora 99999 is now following.
Thank you
for following
following.
99999.
Super
I hope
appreciate
you're
it.
enjoying the stream less than 4 less
Patron
than
was
3
just
plus
telling me
1.
he used to Arch Commander Consummate and thinks he'd be a perfect match for us.
I'm not that interested.
Okay, I was like, how long is the bomb gonna be up there?
Why?
What? Why are you smoking?
Maybe.
What? When did you start smoking?
1989-ish?
So you have been lying. It all makes sense. The filled ashtrays, the burning pine-scented hairspray.
Yes, I'll say it. Her 3-pack-a-day voice?
Indeed, indeed. So, the whole idea of tiering has 2 potentials, because I'm never married to any idea. Anything can change at any point in time. That's the glory of the ideas, is if there's a better idea or an idea that fits better, may not be as good of an idea, but it works more overall in general, it's better to scrap the idea that just doesn't fit, no matter how much you want to use it. So there's the Husai writing the book.
You are in for it now, sweetheart. Take those sexy glasses off like a good girl. You don't need to see what happens next.
True. But basically, the tiering system has two potentials. It's Husai created the tiering system, or the tiering system is just like a philosophy of magic. Because of how the magic system works, different people believe different things about how magic works. There's many different schools, but at the end of the day, it's personal to whoever is casting the magic. So there's no real right or wrong way to cast magic, because it's all invoked through the consciousness and imagination. Power scaling was a thing I got into about 2 years ago before I got into writing. Well, it's scary because, like, we go from, killing, like, mandragoras and, like goblins to, fighting dragons the size of, like, multiple cities to, fighting basically celestial beings. So the scaling, like, escalates extremely because of, like, artifact and relic armor, the technology of the past, the influence of magic, and the intelligence of people being able to understand how things stack multiplicatively on top of each other to get the most amount of buffs out of something, such as using the rift and fissure system in order to have a minimal amount of melees or tanks on the line and rely a huge amount on mages for the initial, like, 90% HP, and then the rest is done with the physical when it's already kind of damaged and fucked up to a point. Like, we're talking, like, 50 mages casting spells all synchronously, right? Where are these celestial beings scaling? Consciousness. So consciousness is fundamental to existence, and basically the celestial beings are planets. Planets are a outcome of their shells, and basically space debris gather around the shell to create a crust, and then they send out seeds of their consciousness to create life, and then that consciousness expands, and when that consciousness dies, it comes back to the being. So through creating life on its planet, it basically, like, grows and evolves. Those are good celestial beings. Bad celestial beings don't care about life, so they will destroy their own planet, devour anything on it, and search the universe for other things to devour. The main enemy, Anima, is a all-encompassing, world-eating, sun-eating black hole that devours everything in its path, and Gaia is the main planet, who's the good celestial being, who is trying to stop Anima from consuming her. So maybe the reality is that the tiers are how willing the spirit is to work with you and how accepting you are to that spirit type. If you attempt to force a more powerful effect than your partnership can support, it weakens your physical form. Well, if you're fully in tune with the spirit of that element, then you're practically unfettered. Because celestial can range from, like, planetary to uncountably infinite dimensional. True. So it's like celestial beings, and even among celestial beings, Anima is like the black hole at the center of at the center of the galaxy, whereas Gaia is just a planet. So there is this. So if you think of, like, the lowest gap of, like, the lowest, like, monster on the bestiary, and compare that to, like, Gaia's consciousness, there's a greater gap in that between Gaia and Anima. But Anima can't control himself. He is just rage incarnate. So Gaia has the functioning mind, essentially, to hold him back. And the ending of the book is, like, the final conflict between Gaia and Anima, and it's like, you know, rush into battle, but you don't know what happens, right? It's like the struggle for eternity. Like, no one can truly win in the end. Like, Gaia winning is holding Anima at bay so he can't devour the entirety of existence until there's nothing left. If that brings things more into perspective. And then through technology, magic, and Gaia herself, the main characters get to a point of, like, almost being equal, but it's literally, if you've watched Naruto, it's literally like the monarch is like Madara, and it's the entire world against him, and he's still owning everyone as fuck. To the point that the fight between Husai and the monarch at the end is like Goku and Vegeta on Namek, to the point where they destroy the planet so much that there's no coming
Naruto,
back.
what's that?
So Gaia, I was about to say Gaara, Gaia breaks out of the planet, destroys the planet, and kills the monarch by basically freezing him in space with the rest of everyone else. But everyone dies, but their consciousness is returned to Gaia, whereas the monarch and the viceroys return to Anima. And then they follow that using an explanation of the soulscape and everything. It'll make sense when it's fully explained, but using magic to invoke consciousness into a physical object to send that to a different space. So it's like she sends her consciousness across time towards Anima. And it's supposed to be like billions of years before she gets to Anima, and then she finally gets there, and it's like the final battle, right? How big is existence in this fiction? Existence never goes beyond the scope of the planet. The planet and it got like Anima and Gaia are referenced as celestial beings in a grand order, but it is only on the face of consciousness. So there's a universal consciousness, and then that sends seeds that create more consciousness. So everything is like smaller groups of consciousness that are seeds born of other consciousness. So when one consciousness loses its form, it returns to the greater consciousness it was connected to. And then it's just a web of consciousness throughout the existence down to a single particle, having even the smallest, slightest bit of consciousness. And then celestial beings having a high enough degree of intelligence to be able to invoke the idea of the quantum world in order to force particles in and out of existence and to split particles from antiparticles and cause extra waves of gravitons to make it so when the particles pop into existence, they don't immediately annihilate each other. They're pulled apart and placed into two separate parts of the universe, where it's said that antimatter and matter are the same side of the same coin, and if those particles met, all of existence would be obliterated. But for some reason, because of gravity, the certain particles are pulled apart from each other before they have a chance to annihilate themselves. So a true consciousness can enact like the physical world through gravity to cause particles to pull apart from each other, and then you can modify those particles. It's basically like having a cell that could be programmed into anything, and then you just build the molecule or the protein based upon that cell. And it uses the idea of quantum entanglement and quantum mechanics in order to create that. I thought you said there was a galaxy when talking about Gaia being a black hole in the center of that. No, Anima is the, like, think of the scale difference between a black hole that's in the center of a galaxy and a planet. That's the difference in scale between the consciousness of Anima and Gaia. And Anima is basically like the biggest black hole in the universe, right? Just going around devouring everything, to the point that he creates like his own galaxy around him to devour it. And he sends shards of himself out into existence because he knows that he's going to run out of energy before he can devour all of existence. So he sends shards of himself out into the existence to get species to basically evolve super fast and procreate across their worlds to create as much life for him as possible, so that when he eats, he gets his maximum amount of energy. So the monarch, it's like kind of this duality where the monarch wants people to, because the monarch's being controlled by Anima, wants people to have a beautiful, amazing, peaceful, easy, non-conflicting life where you just procreate and advance your consciousness until he can eat you. And then Gaia wants there to be strife, hardship, disaster, conflict, because it teaches people the value of their existence. And this is contrasted in the book between the Adventurers Guild and the Tree. Because in the Crystalline Tree, there is no fatigue, no hunger, no want for anything. You don't need anything, you just exist. which makes existence stagnant.
There's a galaxy or universe, but in terms of the story, you only see what's on the planet. That's what I think is going on. The galaxy or universe at large doesn't actually come into the story.
Yeah, Sean, it only comes into the story at the very end of the book, in the last bit of the last chapter. But you do have, like, it tells you that there is an entity out there that is devouring the universe. At the beginning of the second book, you learn the lore behind Anima and the Monarch. But that's as far as it goes, and it's out of scope for the actual planet itself and the beings on it.
I see, so there canonically is a galaxy then.
Right, yes. Yes, canonically there is a galaxy. There are multiple galaxies. There are beings that are greater than planets that are the accumulation of those galaxies, even more so than there are suns the size of black holes that are in the center of galaxies. To contrast, like what we believe, there are white holes to oppose black holes.
Not exploring something out of scope.
That's unlike you. That's true, Levi. It is very much unlike me. But there are things that need to be grounded in that aspect, and it's just a contrast to show this is what is truly out there. And it's like at the very beginning, right? The very first chapter, where you see what would be considered the strongest, best adventurers in the entirety of the world. Like, these adventurers would be like, I don't know what guild it is, but whatever guilds in, like, World of Warcraft do, like, world first events. Like, that's the scale of how good these adventurers are, right? They are world motherfucking class. And they barely beat the Emerald Weapon. And then the main characters in Husai come in, and they're just like, done, easy, out of the way, get out of here, don't even worry about it. Because that's how much stronger each generation gets after, like, the influence of knowledge and stuff like that. At least my chapter 12 is under 1,000 words, so tangents probably won't prevent reading it. Well, Sean, tomorrow, like, one of the things is tomorrow is my Friday, so if we have a late day today, that's okay. Tomorrow, like, I can just push through for tomorrow, and then it'll be the weekend, and then I can just sleep in on Wednesday, because unlike last week, I don't have anything on Wednesday, so I can actually sleep in till, like, 8 o'clock, and then, you know, catch up on this last week's sleep. That I haven't actually to wake up and do something, because we had Easter dinner on Wednesday last week. That just means you've left room for more tangents. That's true, Levi, very much so. I mean, we're at 5 minutes into the video, and we're an hour into the stream, so you tell me. And we've kind of gotten off the scope of talking about just magic in general, even though magic is directly related to consciousness, because magic is just how consciousness can affect the real world. But it's just invoked through the idea of elements, because that's how magic works in a Final Fantasy world. So it's a contingency that I have to kind of stick to. That there is wiggle room within that structure, but it is a very, like, you know, the base of it is how does this element affect the real world to cause this thing to happen. There should be a correlation between that, right? And I think that's what we should be building during this session, essentially. But let's get back to it.
Character dynamics that we have seen a million times before. Oh? The Fire User's arc is about controlling his anger? Wow, would it
Is it fine if I share my story in the Cord? Yeah, go ahead. We can read it afterwards if you want.
Well, eat my
After I
cat,
read
call me
chapter
Bobby.
12
Never heard
of
that
cat
one
version.
Part of being original here.
I mean,
is
there's the
not only
possibility we just
finding new
skip doing
associations for the
cryogen
element,
today.
but also finding different roles
But
for the magic
that's
to
okay.
play narratively. This is why Jack Frost in Rise of the Guardians is pretty damn cool. I love that film. He completely breaks their association of ice being slow, grim, connected to darkness or even death, and he makes it about being fun and rebirth and living in the moment. It's a fundamental part of his character arc to find his place in the world, but it's not an arc that we've seen really associated with ice magic before. Jim Butcher's Codex Alera series associates Earth with lust and being in the moment. It's an uncommon association, but it's one I can totally get behind, because it's about being grounded. It's about your desires and needs in the real physical world. As for the different narrative roles it can play in your story, it doesn't need to be used as an analog for your character arcs or traits. It can be used to explore the world, the tone, the themes. Narnia's world being overtaken
Codex
by a
Alera
magical
is great,
icy
but feels
winter
unfinished.
tells us immediately that this world is unforgiving and grim, when it could be so much more because of our cultural emphasis on the coming of spring, even though winter is better and you all damn well know it. But it also creates a tonal
That is one problem with my ending, Sean. Is there's always a problem, right? So you guys gotta pick and choose which problems you're willing to accept and which ones you're not. People might find my ending unfinished. But that's the whole point, is to leave it up to the reader's imagination what actually happens. That because and that goes to show like how grand the fight between Gaia and Anima is. It can't be put into words, so it can only be conjured through the mind of the reader after they've read the book. Sit back and say, what do I think in my headcanon happens? Does Anima win? Does Gaia hold him at bay? Are there other beings? Does the story repeat again? Because one of the fundamental purposes of it is to ask the question of, could this have happened in the past on some planet in our reality? And the answer to that should be yes. If you took all the fundamental ideas and it had a catalyst for how, like, a connection between consciousness and the soul, and the idea of like a greater consciousness, or greater consciousnesses, and like a non-physical based consciousness, and like I believe that we are not our bodies, our consciousness, like we are like a TV or a monitor, and the signal that's being sent to us, which is our consciousness, is from a outside source. The future exists and we don't have to tell it. Codex Alera leaves the MC and is on his way back to his country with a usurper in control. Well, he's the inheritor of the country, and it's major magical... It's magical spirit? So MC has the spirit, well, the usurper has the country. That's what I mean by unfinished. Yeah, and it leaves a story that the reader can create afterwards, right? Like, the best endings, I think, leave the reader to create their own future stories. You don't need 12 books. You need 2 books and an open ending. But, like, close all of the plots and create, like, a brand new, off-the-scope, out-of-scale plot for the end. Which is basically what I did.
childish wonder through Lucy's eyes. In Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn series, the magic system is used to explore the industrial revolution that the world is undergoing. In the unsurprisingly...
Well, in this it's also like a contrast between how the magical world works and how the technological world of the past worked. And why no one knows what technology is or how to use technology. Because magic didn't exist, so they needed to create machines. Whereas in this world, you just use magic to do whatever you would normally have a machine do. And then at the end, it's a combination between technology and magic, which makes it completely off the scale insane.
named A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R. R. Martin, fire and ice magic are intensely related to the themes he wants to explore. Beric Dondarrion's repeated fire magic resurrection helps explore how death is the ultimate equalizer, and that the ability to die is part of what makes us more human. The mysterious winter ice magic of the North is more about creating an eerie atmosphere and somber tone to his writing. Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time uses the divide between the masculine fire and earth magics and female water and air magics to explore gender relations. See, I find stories with elemental magic systems to be pretty tonally neutral. They're not inherently whimsical or grimdark. They're the rainbow technicolor dreamboat of aesthetics. Consider adding elements that change the tone or inform what you want. Maybe earth magic kills plants around you, making it more of a grimdark world full of sacrificial magic. Or perhaps the fire is controlled through upbeat saxophone music, making the world full of whimsical wizards who did it with a saxophone. Yeah, baby, you thought the meme was gone, but it is back! What I'm trying to get at here is I want you to think about what you want your elemental magic to do in your story narratively. What does it inform thematically, tonally, and worldily? Yeah, sure, how does it...
Like I said, it's a contrast between fulfilling the needs. Like, you have basic needs. And no matter what, you'll find a way to facilitate the easiest and most efficient way of meeting those needs. And that's also done through, like, the tree itself. And this, like, the metaphor for the tree itself, because it is crystallized consciousness, right? So, the fact that, like, the people that live inside the tree, right? The monarch and everyone, when they first started out, the tree wasn't hollow. They hollowed out the tree themselves. The monarch, like, there's basically, like, a mining thing that the monarch does. I don't exactly know how this is gonna work, but it's in, like, the economic chain of how things are in the tree, and one of them is basically mining. And they grind up the pieces of the tree like pulp, and they create the materials inside of the tree out of the tree. And it's basically like plastic. So it can be like as hard as like a chair, and you could use it as like a chair or a desk. It could be as flimsy as saran wrap. It could be like paper, so you can write on it. Basically, any need that you need is taken care of by the fact that you can manipulate this material into whatever form you need, color, whatever, through a manufacturing process. And the manufacturing process has been changed over, like, the 400 years to 600 years that, like, before the Adventurers Guild, when it was, like, people still remembered the outside world and the before times, the moon, and what the monarch did, and coming from the ocean, and everything like that. Whereas now, everything has moved to a magical sense. So all the old technology is basically, like, hidden by the monarch in the roots. And it's one of the things, again, Husai has come across, because he's the only one who knows about the roots, because Gaia lets him in. And that's how they get to the dome at the end of the day. But the idea that the tree itself, which is consciousness, facilitates the needs of the people in whichever ways they need, which is how consciousness basically works. Is this planet the last bastion of life, or just another stop on the road? It's just another stop on the road. It's just a random planet that happens to have a shard of anima, and there's trillions, if not quadrillions, of shards of anima across worlds everywhere. And that's where it's like at the end of the story. Sean, have you been here when I read the final chapter? I know Eggy was, but I don't know if you were here. Shards of anima? True, Eggy. That's literally how the world ends, in shards of anima, but it's like lava. It's like rocks and lava. So the rocks are like the pieces of turds, and the lava is like, you know, the liquid, the mixed liquid of melted rock and shit. And it's like, the chapter before this is like, during the great fight and everything, Gaia becomes like almost one of the enemies, because Husai wants her to destroy his consciousness, control his body, and destroy the monarch, so she doesn't have to destroy the planet. But she knows that she can't do that, and she can't sacrifice his consciousness, not for his sake, for everyone
Betray your
else's
pillar
sake.
who offers you a hole carrying for a only foot. Aha, bro, got priorities, tears of joy.
Hellion boy! We're not gonna talk about this, okay? Win or lose, nobody remains to recount the outcome. Exactly, Sean. Exactly. And the fact that we're living here today in our existence means Gaia is out there somewhere holding back Anima, or Anima's out there somewhere coming for our planet. And now we live in the technological age, because it's like the Final Fantasy trope, technological age destroys itself, and a magical age is born from the collapse of that technological age through some mechanism. You never know, right? So, like, magic plays a very important narrative role because of how it plays with consciousness, and it's played in first person from the main character. So, from there, you have to put into perspective each character's ability of consciousness itself, and where you learn, like, avians and insectoids are genetically engineered. Well, so is the Monarch and the Viceroy, and so is Husai. So through genetic engineering, you can manipulate how powerful a consciousness is. So there may even become a point where they want to kind of build a new being that's kind of like a god that could go up against the Monarch. But it's like, should they do this? Should they create something that powerful? Then when magic vanishes, technology must serve once more. If only the two could coexist, perhaps even we could coexist. True, Sean, and there is that brief moment when the octopi from the bottom of the ocean and all the dragons and everyone is fighting the Monarch. So you've literally got, like, spaceships, dragons, and adventurers, and you still can't beat the Monarch. And magic, and you still can't beat the Monarch. Because the Monarch just knows that he is the full embodiment of a being that understands the entirety of the universe and basically has infinite power. So he can cast, like, Doom 100 on you. And it's like that. Like, his whole thing is, like, taking advantage of meteors and casting meteors. Because it's, like, his representation of pulling the moon out of the sky. So he literally has, like, a pet behemoth that's, like, it's like a skeletal, rebuilt, reanimated, mechanical behemoth. So that means he scales to high 3A. I'm not quite sure what that is a reference to, but, like, the reference we like to use is this one. So, like, power scaling is like your tier 1's like normal, tier 2 is like Kaioken, tier 3 is like Kaioken times 10 or Kaioken times 100. Then it's like tier 3 is like Super Saiyan. Then, like, you can push, like, tier 3 AoEs by going, like, Super Saiyan. Like, you can compound the first one, so you can go, like, you know, your normal strength plus your Kaioken strength plus your multiplied Kaioken strength plus your Super Saiyan strength plus your Super Saiyan 3 strength plus your Ultra Instinct strength. You know, it's like each one just compounds on top of the next one, creating an even higher barrier or level of strength. And that's kind of how we think about it. Where it's like, only we're kind of scaling into the millions. So, like, the Monarch is like 3 million, Husai is like 1 million, and most of the other characters are like 800,000, let's say, like, by the end of the book. And the Warriors of Light are like 2 million. Because they're the strongest of the strong. Because they have the fully genetic engineer, whereas Husai is only partly genetically engineered, only for his mind, not necessarily for his body. Even though his body kind of facilitated its own need as coming along with that. And that's the reason why he's human and no one else is. 1 million, I thought he had infinite. It's like he never runs out of energy, but it can only scale to a certain extent, and that's only because he's catalyzing it through a physical body.
if Anima used the shard of himself that was lodged into Gaia's shell, it would literally shatter the entire planet. But he's trying to create food for himself. So why would he blow up the planet that he's creating food for himself? So his ultimate goal is just to basically create as much life as possible. So whatever allows him to create as much life as possible, no matter how many times he has to restart, which of the restart would have been him pulling the moon out of the sky. Okay, so it's like his stamina, not his destructive power, durability, or AP. Yes, true, Gremlin. Exactly. And your power level is like, how long can you sustain that power level for, right? You can only sustain certain power levels for certain amounts of time, right? It's like Goku's ultimate ability to getting Super Saiyan 3 was turning Super Saiyan 1 into normal mode, right? And that's kind of how you take it. You take what was the next step, and then you make that normal, and then you try to push beyond it. Would destroying the moon not have gravitational impacts? Yes, Eggy. Where do you think the dragons went? When the Monarch pulled the moon out of the sky and it pulled all the continents together and fucked everything up, the ocean's currents stopped, and the oceans stagnated, and the oceans were dying, which would have killed the entire planet, which was something that the Monarch again didn't care about because he could artificially create his own life. So it was something he was just willing to let happen. But the octopi at the bottom of the ocean had technology, and they're basically like, okay, we can slow the process. Then they went to the dragons and said, you guys are big enough to create what we need. So if you guys go down and for like the next, let's say 600 years, 700 years, you guys stabilize the planet while we set up the technology in order to facilitate the currents and continue the currents and the tides, then we can go and fight the Monarch. So it's like, this moment in time is an accumulation of all of that delay building up and happening all at the same time. So eventually the other dragons are going to come out of the ocean. A high A3 would be high universal. It's a character who can impact an infinitely sized space on a three-dimensional axis, or being stated of having infinite power would typically constitute this tier. Yes, but only because a shard of him is close by. Since a shard of him is embedded into the planet, he can enact within the distance of himself, like, let's say, a light year. So, like, an entirety of a solar system. If he has a single shard of himself, he can basically control the entirety of that area. But, like I said, his ultimate goal is to create life, so he doesn't want to blow up the planet. So he's trying to hold back as much as possible. So it's more Husai blowing up the planet than it is anything else. And all that element, and at the end of the day, we come back to the dome and the idea of flat Earth, and how the flat Earth has, like, the shell over top of it. When Gaia destroys the planet and drops her tear down, the idea of her tear, so is Husai not the real villain? No, Eggy, I think you're getting it wrong. There are four characters. Anima, who's the bad celestial being. Gaia, who's the good celestial being. Then there's Husai, who's the vessel of Gaia, who's the good character, who's the main character. And then there's the Monarch, who's the vessel of Anima, who's the bad guy. So there's four characters. A vessel for a celestial being, and then a celestial being, influencing that vessel through consciousness. Whereas Gaia can only slightly influence and talk to Husai because his brain only facilitates a certain amount before it would be forced out. So beyond normal beings would have just instinct level, he has like a whisper. So that's where it's like the whole book is in first person, and it's gonna feel like he's talking to the main character, like he's talking to himself, and he's like, oh, I had this epiphany about this, and this is how I think this works, and that fits together with that. So it's like, that's how exposition will be, is him like explaining it to the reader. But in the second book, you find out that it was actually Gaia that he was talking to. And it's like Gaia was like talking back to him. So it's like, if you can infer through how I tell the story, thoughts through the questions that Husai asks, it should feel like Husai's breaking the fourth wall and answering your questions. That's how I want to portray it. But anyways, back to the magic system.
Affect who your characters are and how you represent them. Yeah, but maybe think about doing things that haven't been done so much before. The second way to make them more original is pretty simple. The elements themselves. In Aaron Haas's The Dragon Prince, the elements aren't based around the classical 4 or 5, but around the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, the sky, and the ocean. It's familiar, and still results in lightning being thrown around, but the aesthetic and framing is fundamentally
Team
different
Octopi and
from how you
Dragon.
usually imagine it.
That's why as you learn more about the world, you start to question, are the main characters on the right side? And by the time you get to the fight with Fafnir, you should be cheering Fafnir on. Not Husai. If I do it right, you should be cheering Fafnir on, because he's the one who has the knowledge, and Husai has been manipulated, and everyone's been manipulated, and you can see that as the reader. So in the final fight, when it comes down, when they finally take Atomus to Fafnir, are the main characters on the right side, is the first question I ask when reading any book. And it seems like the main characters are, because there's no reason for fighting. There's, like, the Monarch hasn't really done, like, the only main reason is, like, the fanatics. And it's like, you see in the first chapter how most people in the tree, like, don't think the way that the fanatics do, but the fact that the don't read a lot of World War II history. Don't you read a lot of World War II history? There's always what's more right. And, like, facilitating evil in the name of righteousness. Which is almost kind of what Gaia does, because she wants the world to be a horrible place. Because it'll show people the value of life. So it's like, even as a good being, Gaia doesn't want the paradise that Anima wants. Even if Anima wasn't there to eat the planet, Gaia still wouldn't want there to be a paradise, because things would be stagnant. And you get to see that in the contrast with the tree, of being like, this is what a world of paradise looks like, and it's bad. And it's like, the mirror to that is the real war, like, upper class people in first world countries, that their biggest problem is someone on the internet said something bad about them. And that's, like, how they live their lives around that narrative. That it's like, the worst thing that can possibly happen to me is someone doesn't get my opinion. Which, again, I don't understand, because this is, like, something I've been preaching since, like, day fucking one. And Valiant Boy has been here the entire time. So, you can't tell me he doesn't understand English enough to understand that. And like I said, I'm an extremely emotional person, so I understand. I like thinking of it on a personal level, than on a right or wrong level. Bad is usually framed in a way of character's habitual flaw, standing in the way of being a good person. Exactly, like, you're not willing to sacrifice, like, it's like a trolley problem, and you're choosing the bad trolley problem for basically no reason. I completely buy him not understanding English well enough. But Levi, he should be smart enough to know that if he doesn't understand English well enough, then how can he get mad at things in English if he doesn't understand English enough? Because that doesn't make any sense. Because it's like, if you know that you don't understand English that well, how can you take things that are said in English super seriously? Because you may have the wrong context towards it. Half understanding. And the other thing is, like, Valiant Boy is huge into the, like me and you, Levi, have had the conversation about, is Valiant Boy the ultimate troll? Because it feels like he does the ultimate meta move every single time. And it's like, I don't believe that he's stupid, but I'm like, how does he keep doing this thing over and over? Oh, don't talk to me when I'm not here. Valiant Boy, we're just having a conversation, bro. If you want to chime in on the conversation, feel free. We're not insulting you. I want to ask you, again, is it your understanding of English? Because no one here is insulting you. No one here thinks you're in the wrong. No, Valiant, see, that's the problem. You're not a problem. You're completely fine. There's nothing wrong with you. You are completely fine, dude. You just You just took the rules and used them in your favor, and I can't have that. That's literally as simple as it is. It's also helpful to understand different moral axes. True, Gremlin. And scale. Like, are you trying to
Bro,
defend...
I said hello, you fine? Nobody answer, even you saw UDGAF.
Don't play with me. I said... What? Valiant Boy, I said hello to you when you came into the stream. Go back in the VOD and watch. I said hello to you. I said welcome to the stream. I don't... And now we're like, do you understand English? And it's like, you seem to understand English. Verified. See, Sean can say that too. So it's like, I don't understand where you're getting this attitude from, bro. It's like, at this point, I'm like, I'm just gonna believe that you're just trolling. Cause you're still here. You're still here. Not here for small talk. I'm here for goon jokes and stories. Yeah, you can think what you want. See what I mean, guys? You do what you deserved. See what I mean? He's doing the ultimate meta thing that's like throwing it back in your face kind of thing. And I'm like, Valiant Boy, I don't know how to respond to this. This is fucked up, man. I don't know. I'm sorry, it's not my fault, but if that means that much to you, you just shouldn't have banned people. Especially Toe Connoisseur, man. Toe Connoisseur. I literally... Valiant Boy, why do you think I have this here?
Hey, if you want to believe I am just messing with you, go ahead.
Yeah, like, what have we chosen for the male version of a Kraken? Wait, what do you mean, Sean? It's obviously the black flame from Monster Hunter Wilds.
They right.
But see, Valiant Boy? Karen. Oh. Male version of a Karen. Sean, I'm dyslexic, okay? Karen is Kevin. The male version of a Karen is a Kevin. But, like, okay, so I'm gonna explain this as easily as I can. Valiant Boy. Oh my god, I can't fucking even spell it. This is so retarded.
If Toe_connoisseur is a random viewer, why'd I have Toe picks Valiant Boy?
Nothing wrong with being dyslexic, just makes it a challenge, not impossible, which means your writing is even more epic than I already thought it was. Well, thank you, Sean. I'll never forget you derailing the chat every 45 minutes with perceived insults. Thanks for your service. That's you buy, I don't know what. I mean, it's a simple question, Valiant Boy. If Toe Connoisseur is a random viewer, why do I have feet pics specifically for Toe Connoisseur? And you betrayed and spit on your first donator motto. But I'm trying to tell you, Valiant Boy, I didn't. Can you explain to me... Like, I feel like I'm Asmongold pulling up a retard here. I'm sorry, Valiant Boy, but, like, how do you think that I like... insulted you or like degraded you? Like, please explain to me how I did that so that everyone else can see it and I can see it. Betrayed and spit on you? I don't understand. Who gave you all these suckers who actually watching today? Did it actually make it easier to read when I type dyslexic as dyslexic? Yeah, probably, Sean, because I knew exactly what the word was without looking at it.
Valiant Boy, nobody hates you. Please explain how I did that so I can do it again. Yes, Levi, exactly. I'm here because Levi rated a talk. It's nothing to do with you, LMAO. Yeah, I'm starting to think Valiant Boy has a little... Bro, stop playing. I also don't know how you betrayed Disrected. Okay, so yesterday, Gremlin, I had to remove Valiant Boy as a moderator because me and Toe Connoisseur were making a joke about Valiant Boy being a new viewer. And somehow during that banter back and forth, Valiant Boy banned Toe Connoisseur. And I've already talked to Valiant Boy over the course of the last, 2 months, and he's banned, 15 people in the chat. And I keep telling him, you can't ban people in the chat, it makes me look bad. Especially when it's like someone disagrees with you.
Not here. That's not a man thing.
I'm not... Yeah, I don't know, how you're betraying and dehumanizing me. Valiant Boy, we're not talking about you, we're talking about a situation. And as much as you think you're the center of it, I'm just trying to explain to someone what happened. And I removed you as moderator because you banned someone. After I told you, and I could even pull up the Discord messages of us talking privately and me telling you in plain English saying, if you want, translate this to French so that you can understand it. Do not ban people in the chat. And you banned him. And he's he's actually an older viewer than you are. He's as old as Smokey is. You don't even want to go back one more time here, look at all the chat. Valiant Boy, I don't know why you're being so emotional, but I'm just gonna move on. A Karen. Oh, okay.
There are also expressions
okay,
of these
Valiant
powers
Boy.
that we haven't seen before. The moon leads to invisibility, and the sun, which is comparable to fire, can manifest in healing abilities that burn away sickness.
I guess one thing to mention about is the aspects of light and darkness in magic combining the element is like the idea of combining all of the colors together to create white. I try to understand if I deserved a whole EM Tard community on my back. No, you do not, Valiant Boy. I respect you. You are still an editor. You're still an artist. You're still part of the team. You just no longer have the ability to ban people in the chat. That's literally all that happened. I asked for your gun and your badge back. The problem is with you and me, but all suckers come to talk. They can shut their mouth, but no. See, you literally joined Levi's stream yesterday and started throwing out insults at me. Okay, and remember this, Valiant Boy, Levi, you can refresh their memory as well, because I remember, because you do too, no? That was pretty funny, to be honest. Well, Levi, I remember, bro is shredded, I remember, this was last month, Eggy and Valiant Boy were bantering back and forth, and I raided you, and then the next day I came into the stream, and Eggy said that Levi said to stop fighting in his chat, because they were bantering. Do you remember that, Levi? Because I'm Valiant Boy does the same thing, so I don't know why he's so offended when someone else does it.
Moderator and being able to ban people in chat, you're a part of the team. Not being moderator or being able to ban anyone not being a part of the team.
But, he can still he can change my title, he can change my category, he can still do all of the things that a moderator can do besides banning some people. I don't remember saying that, but I also say a lot. I might have meant it in a not very serious way. See, that's what I thought, Levi. A behave yourself guys kind of way. Yeah, I think that's what it might have been, and I think I said that to Eggy too. He might have been joking at you, because I don't
That's
feel
not my problem, so don't talk to me and continue our stream without me. That's all.
But Valiant Boy, I want you to be a part of the stream. I like the fact that you, like, engage with the stream and stuff, so I don't know, like, I mean, I consider, wait, Sean, yeah, like, I consider Sean a part of the group, right? Sean's not a moderator. Like, you don't have to be a moderator to be a part of the team. To have input, to feel like you belong, to be a part of the community. I just give moderator to whoever asks for moderator. That is literally how you get moderator in my chat. You say, hey, can I have moderator? And I'll go, yeah, sure, here's moderator. If you abuse it, I'll take it back. It's that fucking simple. And that's exactly what I did.
Sanderson's Mistborn series is an even weirder and more brilliant example of
Oh,
elemental
I was talking about light and darkness and taking the
None
idea
this
of,
is
like...
particularly serious, but you were right to take his gun.
I mean, Levi, you're the one who said you might have to take his gun and badge one day. And that's when I started taking it seriously, because I looked at it from a third-party perspective, being like, someone randomly coming into the chat, me saying fuck you, them saying fuck you, and then Valiant Boy, like, for some reason being like, don't disrespect
Don't worry,
the talks, and ban them.
5077. I'll try my best to fill Valium's shoes in your stream chat from now on. Okay, sign. Oh no, I've been implicated.
Alright, Gremlin, sounds good. Is Gremlin Valium's main? It would make total sense, guys. He would be revealing his true power level. It'd be like, that's my job. Cute muffin. Even if I was a mod, I wouldn't use anything unless I was specifically asked to do so, and only if I could actually understand the functions. Yeah, Sean. Like, Valiant Boy is the only person in my chat who's accidentally banned someone 5 times. It's like, at some point, either stop doing whatever you're doing to accidentally ban people, or you're doing it intentionally. There's some dishonesty going on here. And I want to believe it's not me, because I try to look at things fairly and, like, ask other people what their opinions are towards it to get a better perspective. Because I always believe, and I always start with the premise of, I am extremely biased. So I can't take my own word on it. Just like with my writing. But I'm my own worst critic, so it's like I can't even take that seriously. Once is a fluke, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern. Exactly, Sean. Accidentally clicking 5 different buttons. I don't even know how to... Like, I've tried to ban people. I don't know how to ban people in the chat. I honestly don't. I don't know what to do. Because you can, like, bring their thing up, right? And it, like, brings this up, but it's like... even if I bring this, how do I, like... I can block and I can report, but that's just... Like, for instance, that's just Cute Muffin on his own. Right? So it's like... Oh, wait, there it is! I'm retarded! It's right there. Ban. Timeout. Warn. Okay, so... Okay. So if I bring them up, I can do that. Interesting. Okay, well... So of course I'm not gonna click it. That would be funny, though. It would be funny. See, and that's the thing, is like...
You can also right-click their name to get a quick menu.
Wait, what? Oh, what? What? Okay, maybe that makes more sense now how you could accidentally... I mean, yeah, you know, But at that point, I'm like, just don't, like, have your mouse near the chat, right? Like, yeah, one time, first warning is you saying it, second warning is the warn button, third warning is a timeout, and then bye-bye. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically how I see it. And I even told Valiant Boy, like, DM me if you have a problem. The only reason I knew he banned Toe Connoisseur is because either Sean or Eggy said something. And I looked at the chat and I was like, wait, what? Why? And then I looked at it and I noticed the Toe Connoisseur was gone. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes. He'll be back because he loves these. But it still is it's a bad image on me, and I want to create a very inclusive, funny, this is, like, the premise of my stream is to be able to say fuck you to you guys, and you guys to be able to say fuck you to me. He managed to get the limelight from 15 minutes, so Valium's trolling wins again, lol. Yeah. Well, hey guys, guess what? I mean, I know they say all publicity is good publicity, but that's not true. But when you're on what would be considered, I guess, in this case, the right side? Question mark? Because I don't think there is a right or a wrong side, but there's the person who's going out of their way to talk negatively about someone, and then there's someone who's going out of their way to try to talk positively about someone. So when there's someone trying to talk positively about someone and there's someone trying to talk negatively about someone, I say the person talking negatively about someone is probably on the wrong side, right? So, back to publicity. If Valiant Boy just goes around to random streams and tells people that I'm a piece of shit and a dickhead, I'm just gonna feel like Asmongold.
Itox, please continue our stream. Don't waste our time to lying about me, or I will being the guilty again. Please, bro.
The only bad publicity is an obituary. True, Eggy. No, there is such thing as bad publicity, but it's still in a concept of, like, you know, Valiant Boy, I'm sorry that you feel butthurt. You will DM me, don't worry. Okay, I look forward to it, Valiant Boy. But it's a recent topic in the stream. I don't necessarily want to talk about it, but I said I'm not going to talk about it yesterday. I left it off yesterday. You brought it up today, and now I'm sorry. I can't stop talking about it. But
yeah, DW, but I was really cool. I was kind, and before ban I warning 1 time, 2 times, 3 times.
How did you warn him, Valiant Boy? And I also told you that you're not supposed to take actions. So you're telling me that you took actions, and I'm like, yeah, that's why I took away moderator. But it's like, I don't think any less of you. I don't think you're a bad guy. And the only foot guy continued to spit on me, so I banned 1 min tempo, that's all. You literally went straight to my stream to cry about it and started insulting me for no reason. That's not like I not warned. Yeah, you see, Valiant Boy, it's kind of hard when it's like, and then you come back in here and you're like, oh, you're degrading me and like humiliating me. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Valiant Boy? I'm trying to explain to you in a very polite manner that your actions were not acceptable under my standards of my stream, and I've tried to warn you before.
I will DM you.
And it's like, this is a public square, Valiant Boy, so it's like, you don't have a monopoly. But it kind of concerns the entire stream, Valiant Boy, because I'm not, like, I think you're getting the wrong idea here. It's also a tangent, and I'm pretty sure we would have dropped it by now. Yeah, it's like if you just keep bringing it up, it's going to keep coming back, right? I will DM you threatening. But see what I mean? It's like, it's so troll and beautiful. That's why I love Valium. But I just can't have him... Like, I can have him presenting that to me. I can't have him presenting that to a random person in the chat who may not understand the context of it and not know why they got banned in my chat. I don't want random people getting banned in my chat. Even if it's funny. I don't know why they come to talking and increase the toxicity of talking about me. Wholesome community. Valiant Boy. What? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a situation, and I'm explaining how you can go beyond the idea of a person and talking about a role. I am talking about a role of moderators. What is a moderator's job? It is to do the things that I'm unable to do because I'm too distracted streaming. That's it. That's all. That's the only thing a moderator's job is. So I don't understand how losing that because you abused your power is in any way, shape, or form, after being warned multiple times, is degrading or humiliating.
I understand it, Ox.
So I'm just trying to explain that this is the situation, this is what happened, and this was the
Continue
outcome.
our stream, please.
And we, for the future reference, talking about, for instance, the repercussions of this. You have the most liberal
We will
chat
talk
I've
after
seen. Most
when you
people
will be
wouldn't let
offline.
Cute Muffin self-promote, for example. Yeah, exactly, right? And Cute Muffin came in here earlier and said he was banned in one of his favorite channels. And it's like, okay, if you're gonna ban people, then you're not gonna grow. And like Cute Muffin said, he's a bigger channel than that guy now. And it's like, that's how you grow your channel, is you be open to people. And you allow humor to be a part of your community. Because humor, to me, my true belief is that the cure to every ailment is humor. If I can die laughing, I can die happy.
Yep.
Right? And that's kind of one of the themes of the book, too, is like with consciousness and everything like that, right? So it's like, there's this huge group. And anyways, let's get back to what I was talking about light. Light and darkness. Banning is only kind of worth doing when you can afford to curate a chat. True, Levi. As they say, laughter is the best medicine, but V8 Splash is a decent alternative. True, Sean. True. Yeah, like if you're like Asmon and you have 50,000 viewers and you ban 150 retards a day, that's totally understandable. Like if I had people coming in here and, like for instance on my makeup streams, if someone comes in here and says, oh, you piece of shit, trans bullshit, fucking I hate trans people, you're the fucking devil, you're going to hell, I'd be like, okay, well, why do you believe what you believe? I'm not, like, how do I say this in a way that's like, I just want to understand your beliefs. Maybe you can convert me to your side. Maybe I'll start hating myself once you explain, what your whole shtick is, right? And then they try to explain it. If I get muted for 10 secs, I just assume the stream isn't my vibe and unfollow and never come back. Exactly, Aggie.
I know what
it's like,
will make
'cause
this fruit
it's
change
like,
their ways.
I mean,
Vitriol.
I hate to say it, but in streams where I'm like, oh man, sometimes I'm retarded, and then I hit enter and it's like, you don't want to send that message, I just leave the fucking stream. Because I'm like, every message I'm going to try and send in chat is just going to be blocked. So it's like, for specific streams, like Trallian's stream, I don't know if it happens on Angsthace's stream, Rowan's stream, like, I'm very careful when I type in the chat that I don't say, like, retard, crazy, stupid, like, just all these words that just, like, are part of my vocabulary because I consider them, like, non-offensive in a
continue our fucking stream and
humanist.
stop with this prob. It breaks my nuts like for everyone.
Anyway, so we're talking about light, right? And
We will have all
I
time
know
after
what
bro.
will make this fruit change their ways. Vitriol. Interesting concept. V8 Splash is a fruit vegetable blended juice. It is 150% of vitamin C and 8 fluid ounces. It has other vitamins too. He means it has 150% of your daily dose of vitamin C. Not that it contains more than 100% of its own containment. If you were wondering why it's 150%. My scurvy has been
I want
obliterated,
V8
thanks.
Splash but on my head.
So, back to light and darkness and how light and dark work within the context of combining those materials together to create this, like, fundamentally new element. It's like compounding on top of itself, right? So that can create an entirely new tier system within the smaller scopes. So it's like the idea of breaking things down into smaller groups. Reminds me of money can't buy happiness, but I'd rather be crying in a Ferrari. Yeah, it's like a certain amount of money will solve a certain amount of problems, but at a certain point, money will not make you happy, right? Like, if you have, like, the idea of universal basic income, now this is a huge thing. Guys, when I say universal basic income, what comes to your head? And I'm going to draw a diagram off stream, and I'm going to see if your guys' headcanon connects to what my headcanon is. of what universal basic income is. Hmm. Why won't this fucking work? Whatever. Okay, so let's get some answers here. It's wealth redistribution through theft. Fat single moms and immigrants. Hey, I stole that line from a Weird Al song. I just remembered it when that comment about money not buying happiness came up. Oh, a typical Trumpist idea. I don't know, you played the trumpet, Eggy. The phrase money can't buy happiness existed long before Donald Trump was a sparkle in his father's eye. True. Okay, guys. This is what universal basic income means to me. You are afforded a 1-by-1 space where your bed, your stove, and your toilet are all beside each other. You get 1 bowl of rice a day. Your living condition is solved. You have a roof over your head. You have food in your stomach. I don't, but that's what UBI makes me think of. That's universal basic income. Money is happiness, but not for a long time. So, if you guys had this, a 1-by-1 meter room, where your bed, your toilet, and your stove, I don't think there's enough rice to go around. Or toilets. But think about this, Gremlin. How much would it cost? Universal income means everybody gets the same thing regardless of working hard or improve things, so why work? See, Sean, that's where the word basic comes in. Universal income means everyone gets the same thing. Universal basic income means everyone is afforded the dignity to survive. You are afforded a shelter and your 1 food a day. That's all the government affords you. a 1x1 room where, by the way, you're in a building that's like 1,000,000 1x1 rooms with like super paper thin walls. We're talking the bare money affords one the ability to exchange it for goods, but it could be that there don't exist any goods acquirable through exchange that would actually make you happy. So, do you guys see where, like, when people say universal basic income, and I'm gonna akin this to something else. When people say AI, people mean artificial intelligence. When I say AI, I mean automated instructions. Because AI is automated instructions. Problem with that, though, is if you could work and choose not to, then you shouldn't get anything. Otherwise, you're just a leech on society. But Sean, this is where the idea that the people who work minimum wage jobs, right, are a leech on society. Once robots take over and people like me aren't needed at Walmart anymore, the only functional way our society works is we kill 80% of the people, or we give the people who are willing to literally sit in a room and not do anything, as if you could work and choose not to, you shouldn't get anything. See, this idea is that you don't need to necessarily work to get money. So, for instance, everyone knows the struggle of being a writer is living paycheck to paycheck because writing is not a stable job. Incentivizing non-productivity invariably leads to an increasing non-productive population. Yes, but Levi, I'm explaining to you what the bare minimum is. If you had that bare minimum, which was a 1x1 room, would you not spend your entire life trying to do something that would make it so you could leave that 1x1 room? And that's what this plus work into the mansion is, right? But not everyone is going to get the same thing no matter what, how you slice it. Somebody's getting diseases, somebody's getting an accident. Exactly. So it's like, this way, we don't have any homeless people, we don't have any starving people. If you want to move out of your 1x1 place, be a productive member of society. If you're in this state, you are not a productive member of society, and society is only holding your hand, saying, come along, little one, I know the world's a scary place. I might be just fine, since some people are just wasters. Exactly, Levi. And those people it's actually a benefit to society to remove those people from society. Because if their only function in society is to hinder society, I don't want them in society. And the funny thing is, I consider myself one of these people, because I'm a lazy piece of shit who doesn't want to do anything, who sits on his ass and does fuck all. So it's like, I would be one of these people. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of one of those people, right? So it's like, all I'm advocating for is, instead of sending people to the moon, for now, let's fix the problems here on Earth that can be fixed. Which I think can be fixed. We just aren't doing it right. Might work if you ban all immigration and smash organized crime. I mean, if some guy wants to sit in his house and smoke weed all day and do fuck all, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He should be able to do that. Maybe he'll be the next... maybe that one idea he has will change society. I don't want him to be a homeless drug addict that stabbed someone because he needed money to get meth. Right? You see where it's like eliminating one of them kind of takes care of the other one over time? How's he affording that weed with bare minimum provision? Because if you know anything about crackheads, they'll find a way to get enough money to get weed. So they'll do the bare minimum. They'll do like 1 hour of work a day to get that dime bag, right? Because it's like I'm kind of putting this into my book. So I'm going to explain how the economy works in my book, and you guys tell me if you think this would absolutely fail in reality. You can do whatever you want in the tree. There's from mining, there's from government to guards to bureaucracy to basically being a teller at a store. Basically, think of any job in society that's like a minimum wage job, or any job. That's a job you could have. You could be a crafter, you could be a welder, you could be whatever, right? And you get paid by the government to do those jobs, right? And that just gives you the ability to learn how to do them. For UBI to work, okay, let's go back. Let's say the cost of UBI is probably less than welfare and policing and the social issues of poverty like bad health. Money is a credit for work done to acquire goods and services you need. The problem with at least the US is wealth hoarding. Consistently reinvesting into growing the company and hiring more people, they get more income, which, yeah, it's compound interest. That's what I was meaning. For UBI to work in any practical sense would require intense population control. But see, Levi, I don't explain that. Explain why UBI would need... Because, like, I'm a UBI enjoyer, and when somebody says, oh, I don't like UBI, I need to know why they don't like UBI. Like, what is your reasoning for not wanting UBI, Levi? In the meantime, I'll just talk about the book. So, if there aren't enough workers, right? Do you know what the government does? It puts out a quest reward. And for like each day or period of time that they're understaffed, the price goes up. And it's kind of like a union effort. People can just decide to walk away from the job because they don't think it's worth it anymore. And until the government pays them enough that it's worth it, nobody's going to do that job. But the government can't function without that job being done. So it's the people understand that they're the ones with the power, and if they walk away, the government has to cave or fall apart. Do you think that would work in reality? And i.e., I mean unions. The incentive structure encourages a growing non-productive population. So the allocation of resources necessary shifts from productive to non-productive ends. Okay. And I'm going to counter this, Levi, with saying that that I can't actually prove you wrong, but I don't think you can actually prove me wrong either. And what I mean by it is, if you had the ability to sit home and do nothing, I don't think you would, because it would be boring as fuck eventually. Like, you could probably do it for 15 years. 15, 20 years. But after 15, 20 years... And this is coming from somebody who, because of my seizures and my medical condition, I didn't have a job for 8.5 years. I didn't have to do anything. There was no pressure on me to do anything. I played video games. I stayed up all night. I did whatever the fuck I wanted. I smoked all day, every day. But I wrote. And I came up with ideas. And I was pushing the boundaries of my creativity. So do you think those 8.5 years that I spent in my room doing fuck all was actually not productive? We need a way to artificially induce menopause in women with a reversal possible. All women would get that prior to puberty, and only when they are financially stable adults that can choose to reverse it. Population growth controlled without drastic methods. Nice pipe dream, probably not possible with our tech. True. So, it's a matter of opinion, right? Does that make sense? There's a chapter in Democracy, The God That Failed, that covers this, but it's a bit more complex than I can break down in a chat message. See, Levi, what I like from you is you have the actual background of, like, the history of things, right? I'm just a vibe and a feeling. That's why I say, you could be right, but I just don't get that feeling as someone who has been in that place. And the only reason I say that is because as someone who sat there for 8.5 years, I fucking hated my life. Because I had no meaning. I had no purpose. That's why I made the stagnation in the tree so prominent to entertainment. We got Sean asking for eugenics before GTA 6. Gremlin, I'm not sure what you're referring to when you say, does that make sense? Because I'm like, we can have the world that we have now, and everything that we have now, and have UBI, and I don't think UBI would interfere with the world that we currently have. So my problem is why people don't want to instigate this UBI. Because then I could sit at home and stream and not have to go to work, focus on the stream, and still be able to eat my bowl of rice a day. And since it's my parents' house, I don't have to worry about a roof over my head. And it's not like we're talking every single citizen has to be in this UBI situation. This is, you can go to the government, you can apply for UBI, and they will put you in this position. And they will say, we have housing and we have food for you.
I'm referring to the message I was writing that I sent, which got shadow hidden by Twitch, likely for being too long. I'll send it in the Discord, probably.
Oh, yeah, Gremlin, yeah, if the message is too long, it just won't go through. Same thing kind of happens on Discord, but yeah, post it in, like, the general stream chat. There's also a terrible idea. That's also a terrible idea, because the lazy people you're referring to, if they mature and manage to rein in their flaws, they arguably become the best leaders. The biggest, most common reason for lazy people is at its deepest level is because they have the most tolerance to challenges. It's a common issue that arises for individuals growing up in harsher, deficient living situations, typically ones where a father is not present, one where they had to adopt a thick skin to get used to the situation. I completely agree with you, Gremlin. I 100% agree with you.
I will DM you after to talk about the lil misunderstood between
David Hume is also relative.
Fuck you.
David Hume is also relevant. He emphasizes that human knowledge comes from impressions and feelings, not rational certainty. I do believe that, Eggy, because I'm an extremely emotional person. No matter how logical I am, when I get emotional, logic disappears. And I am a fucking rageahol. Especially regarding morality and the self, which he describes as the bundle of perceptions. If the people of the tree don't reproduce, or have their desire to reproduce in some sense suppressed, then their demand for goods would be restricted to where a finite system could plausibly provide for them. If the people of the tree don't reproduce... But, Levi, they would reproduce, because there are only two things to do in the tree. Like, be a part of entertainment or fuck.
Hi, Tukes, can you say a number?
Like, there is no, variable by which, reproduction is not a huge emphasized part of the tree. And that's what Anima wants. He wants people to procreate. So, like debauchery and lust and, like, sex sells is, like, a huge part of the tree. That's why they don't ban certain things. And they're not very, like, and why religion is looked down on for the reasons of, like, the Ten Commandments and stuff like that. It's very, very prominent in a society that doesn't think of that as a taboo. They think of it as more of an uplifting factor. Not that people go out and have orgies and stuff like, well, in public, right? Not that people go out and have orgies in public, but that's also how the reproductive of two of the species lay eggs. the poor and dumb always reproduce. Yes, exactly, Eggy. And going back to what, right. So you'd have unbounded population growth. If the tree's output of food... No, Levi, I think you have the wrong... Of goods isn't similarly outbounded, you've got a problem. Levi, you have a complete misunderstanding of the entire concept of the tree. There is no food in the tree. And, like, the population of the tree is, like, the population is... Okay, like, the population of the tree, percentile-wise, is like the population of Canada. Like, the 2 million people that live inside of the tree are less than 0.1%. Goods, I wasn't talking about food. You dyslexied that. But, Levi...
Or our fuck NG lazy dumbass Fereggy.
Okay, now Valiant Boy, now I have to stop ignoring you, because that was fucking funny. That was fucking fire, dude. That was fucking great. I'm trying so hard, Valiant Boy, to fucking ignore you. It's not possible. A lot of times, yes. So, Levi, goods inside of the tree are made out of the tree. The more that they have to provide room inside of the tree for people, the more goods that they have. So the procreation and, like, escalation of the population literally solves itself inside of the tree by us creating more room for us to live. Means now we have more product to create. So, like, if this was the tree... Oh man, I'm terrible at this. This would be about what people occupy. How is the population of tree only Canada level and not, like, multiple times what Earth has? Because of the Beastman War, Levi. Okay, I think this might be the problem. Let's bring this up. This might be a communication problem. Population growth is an exponential function. Yes, but okay, let's go over the timeline of the last 1,000 years. Okay, so starting with time of man in the year 500,000. Upon the world sits 3 tiers of beings: the worms, their dragonkin. The next were the beastmen, very simple minds, but they were curious and proud. Then the octopi, the creatures with the most potential. Minds of no match and body structures aimed at maximum accessibility. The octopi flourished in the floors of the great, on the floors of the great oceans. They would spend 3 ages perfecting technology and understanding of the world. 20,000 years. So the octopi on the bottom of the ocean spent 20,000 years perfecting technology. Their base population was around 10 million? 15 million?
WTH is octopi?
It's octopus plural, but can also refer to the species as a whole, instead of saying octopuses. So in 20,000 years, Levi, from the population at 500,000 years, let's say the population of octopi was several hundred thousand. Do you think in 20,000 years, how their technology evolved and everything, and we're talking like maybe the last 5,000 years would be... Because we're talking, they're like 150 years of technology advanced from us, right? So think of how octopi because I'm basing the octopi off of octopi in the real world. And the reason for their intelligence is the idea that among a spawn of 10,000 eggs, less than 10 survive. Octopuses is the correct term for the animal in plural, but when talking about something with 8 legs, it would be an octopi. Exactly, Sean, because it is not the octopus species that we imagine on Earth. It is based off of the octopi. A cephalopod. But I don't want to call it a cephalopod, because not all cephalopods have 8 arms. So, and the fact that, like, it is a species name as well. The name of their species is octopi. The name of the bird species... Like, okay, so the name of the cephalopod species is octopi. The name of the bird species is avian. The name of the insect species is insectoid. At the moment, those are just placeholder names. Because we haven't done anything with names because that's too direct, too detailed, too point on. But anyways, so... Levi, what do you think the population... Because I'm trying to extrapolate everything into reality, so I want your honest, actual answers, no joke, right? Like, are my calculations off when I assume that we'll start with the population of, let's say, 20,000, and over the course of 20,000 years, with a lifespan of an average of 120 years, let's actually, like pull this up in a document, and let's see what the mathematics... Actually, let's just do it on here. What are the mathematics? So, what are the mathematics for the distribution percentage scaling increase, I love words, of the population over 20k years? Starting with a population of... let's say 100,000. Now, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go like this. This is what I like using AI for, guys. This is what I like using AI for. My blind eyes don't know what that little image is, Eggy. I don't know if that's good or bad. Should I pretend offense or give a thumbs up? Ah, cool, I rarely get to blow anyone's minds, so thanks for that. It was a blow my mind. On the bottom of the ocean, they're still constrained by more materialistic economic concerns. If we're talking about time in the tree,
Skeezer and Eggy
then
are
there's
like Bonnie and
magical
Clyde, so
provision for the goods that we've considered for narrative purposes to be sufficient for the growth of the population, right? Yes. But, wait, Levi, hold on. Let's step back even further. Are they competing with other species? Inside of the tree? No. No. There's no competition inside of the tree. It's stagnation. Crimes of passion and boredom are like the only things. Like people being fucked up in the mind. Like literally being locked up in a room for 20 years and their minds go. That's 90% of the crime that occurs in the tree. Me, cute. In what universe was I ever cute? And so think about this. Levi, since the Beastman War and the Monarch pulled the moon out of the sky and the creation of the tree, it's been 600 years. And think about anybody who was outside of the dome. Anybody who was outside of the dome that wasn't a beastman that got on the backs of a dragon, they died. So, like, not only is it okay if their population was huge in the millions at the bottom of the ocean, the ones that went into the dome were only in, like, 600,000-700,000 and came out as, like, 3 or 4 million. Then they went to war with the Beastmen for like 2 or 3 or 400 years. And then the Monarch finally decided, fuck it, I'm gonna pull the moon out of the sky. So it's like a war of attrition lasting hundreds of years and an event that completely thins for exponential growth. For beings that live 150 years? So you think, with, let's say, a base population of 10,000. Let's say there were originally 10,000 people that spawned all of the tree. It's been 5 generations. It's been 4 generations. Do you really think the population in the tree could go from like 10,000 to like 10 billion in 4 generations? Especially considering these octopi are genetically engineered to only lay up to 4 eggs. And it's extremely rare for anyone to lay more than 2 eggs. They have infinite material needs and technically infinite material demands. Whatever they need is provided to them via the tree. You're not counting generations, right? Generations are from birth to age of reproduction. Yes, and the way that the age of reproduction works, especially in this society, is most of the time it's between your ages of 60 to 80. Because most, like, it's like 110, 120, and 150 are like the main ages that people die at. So like middle age is like 60 to 80, which is like your reproductive age, because most people spend most of their time in their youth doing other things. And reproduction is actually a very valued thing in the tree. Like, you know, because of the fact of you have to, like, they can have sex, right? Every single one of the species can have sex without reproducing. Maybe that's another thing to take into consideration, Levi, is the byproduct of sex is not reproduction. Reproduction has to be very specifically done. So you can have all the fornication, debauchery, and everything that you need without having the excessive birth rate that comes with that. Does that make more sense? If they have everything, the population will stagnate or decline.
Generations is worse and worse year after year. It's 'cause of society, education, and a lot of factors who explain all the truth and the pain on the youth.
But this is what I mean when I'm talking about my book and trying to get ideas across to people. Because what I want is a simple sentence. A very slow reproduction, at least, kind of conforms to the population control thing. If it were long enough, then it'd be a concern. But within a short time span, the exponential growth wouldn't be too much a problem. But, Levi, you do bring up a point that the monarch does want exponential growth. There just hasn't been enough time for that to be implemented. So I could say within the next 2 generations, the population could grow from 2 million to 10 million. So within 1,000 years, easily the population in the tree could hit the billions, if not, like, more than the population of Earth. And then that's not including the Beastmen and the adventures outside of the tree. Deep Fried Elvis Presley! Is this real animals or in your book? Based off of real animals, but genetically engineered in my book. And welcome back, Elvis Presley! You have been here before, good sir. I am glad that you have returned. It is nice to see another great face among here. That's sick. True! That's why I try to, and like I said, I'm not married to any idea. If someone comes up with a better idea than me, I'm stealing it. You know? But the original idea was like, let's say if you had a population of 100,000 and the birth rate was average 0.3 per person per year, how long would it take to get to 2 million? Actually, you know what? Maybe 0.3 is too much. Let's do 0.1. So let's say 1 every... No, that's probably too much. It's probably 0.205. So, for every person... did they genetically engineer themselves? No, they were genetically engineered by a third party who has overall knowledge of everything, but their genetic engineering is not
IDK how guys
known
continue
to them.
pop kids for their ego. They don't even
Okay, well,
care
Valiant
about
Boy
their kids
talks,
because
I'm
what
gonna
you
toke.
offer instead of violence, hatred, and pain and blood, nothing. I want kids, but if it's to offer it this world, I can't. That's hard, but it's reality, bro. IK.
In Korea and the West, be able to work for their goods. They don't just have everything, and they need to weigh the cost of reproduction when deciding to reproduce. Yeah, Levi. If it's 0.05 per person, that's 20 per person. Oh, no, it'd have to be half of that, because it's 2 people make 1 person. So 0.25. So it was 0.025, which means for every person in the tree, every 25 years, they would have 1 new person. No, sorry, every 12 years. Wait, is that math right? Back. Now I'm going to scroll up and see if I missed anything. True, Sean. The baby boom was 2 per person in their lifetime. Okay, so maybe let's do it per lifetime. Let's say, let's do that. Let's do 2 per person. No, that doesn't work. That's too little. That's too little. Even if it was 2 per person per... That's...
Damn, brother.
That's
put
only
some
like...
paw
Okay,
drops in that
that's
shit.
only like 600,000.
Loudly crying.
Damn, brother, put some cough drops in that shit. Oh, yeah, sorry. Tokes have consequences. Yeah, no, we're just gonna go 0.025 per person per year. So that's like per person, that's once every 25 years. Right? The issue is you then also need to consider gestation time if you calculate it that way. I don't think we need to get that deep into it, but let's see what Grok says. $120 years. So, Levi, that means on average every no, okay, that's too many. Okay, on average how no, okay, okay, if we're doing this math, right? Means 25 births per 1,000 people annually. That seems way too low, though. Get the vaporizer and eucalyptus to keep your lungs open after you toke. Explain your hard gestation system, or it's literally unreadable. It's the exact same as real life. How eggs hatch from birds, how insects lay eggs, and how octopi lay eggs. Except with birds... No, wait. With birds, it's external, right? Where the other two, it's internal? Like, a female lays her eggs, but if she's had sex with a male and then lays her eggs, the eggs are fertilized. Whereas, every pleasure has corresponding pain. True, Elvis. But yeah, that seems like that's a little low. So let's try that again. Let's try that again with your numbers, Levi. I took applied maths at uni, so I could figure out a model for it if you gave me the age they started reproducing and the expected number of kids per parent couple in their lifetime. The average... Okay, Levi, let's do that. Let's do that. So, what do we need? Age they start reproducing, so, they start reproducing at age 45. Expected number of kids per family per lifetime is 8. Elvis has entered the building. True, Sean! Yes, sir, you got me all shook up. Everyone knows Elvis and Tupac are singing on an island somewhere with immortality pills and infinite freaking 0-point module freaking technology. Or I could get Grok to figure it out with those data points because it should be able to figure it out with those numbers. What else did I need? That's all you need? I'm in Cuban resort with Tupac and JFK. I forgot about JFK! Death age. Oh. Okay. Death age of the species. We're just gonna call it 130 because one's 150, one's 110, and one's 130. So I'm gonna do an average because this is across all 3 of the species, not just octopi, also avian and insectoid. So we'll just do the average death of 130, and we'll get a rough estimate of the population of the tree, because it's not just one species, it's 3 species. But there are more octopi. It's like, it's not quite... It's probably the same amount of white people as it is, let's say, like, natively born American white people versus, like, immigrated European white people and anyone of any other skin color. It's, like, 30% of the population. No, it's actually probably, since it's so minuscule, it's probably, like, 45% of the population is octopi. Actually, maybe 40, maybe 30, nah, yeah. Yeah, those are hard numbers. I think 40%, 40, 30, 30 is good. Wait, when do they stop reproducing? Age of infertility is 1. Let's just call it 90. So the age of infertility is 90. So they have essentially 45 years to have 8 kids. Oh, and, no, we just have 1 per thing. It doesn't matter. 8 per total in a lifetime. Because it's like, usually you have 6, and 2 of those are twins. Guys playing the first who read a comment of me, his mom is a bee. I swear, that's funny. Why is this book taking so long? Calculates gestation and population rates. I want it to feel real, Eggy. These are the questions we have to ask ourselves as authors, or how deep do we want to get into this? And I want to get in as deep as motherfucking possible. So this can take the entirety of the stream, and I don't care. We're figuring this out. Because normally it's a pass, 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 but we've come up with a shit ton of stuff here that's, like, totally reasonable, coming from elemental magic. So maybe, guys, we should get back to the React. But, yeah, there are the numbers, Levi. See what you can do with those. If you need me to bring them back up, I'm going to bring them back up.
Bro, what's our calculus? Can you explain?
But, yeah, this is kind of, like, the idea of, like, how much of the tree is, like, taken by people. Which is, like, none. Compared to the actual tree itself. Okay, it's doing vector math. Grok might be cooked hard. But it says 187 years to reach 2 million from 100,000. Do you think a dome... Well... Okay, well, I mean, that answers my question. How much do you get... Are you trolling? He went through it very precisely. Yes, Elvis, we're pretty sure...
You cooked my brain.
I'm pretty sure Valiant Boy is trolling. I forgot to include an initial population. Include the initial population is 100,000.
Me trolling? Ahaha.
He only knows how to troll. Inside the tree, Elvis, there is no disease. And you technically don't die of old age.
I am not like that. Bros Cartel isn't a joke.
Elvis, you don't die. You can't die. The only way to die in the tree is to have your head cut off. You will immediately heal yourself back. Unless your head's cut off. Yeah, Elvis, I have no idea. Same with Valiant Boy. He speaks French, so sometimes there's a little bit lost in translation. 39 from the starting population of 100,000. Wait, 39 years?
I am a baguette lost MFK forget.
Take 39 years to go from 100,000 to 2 million. There is no infant mortality rate. No one dies. There's no disease. I'm not sure I get that one exactly. I'll need to check the maths. I'm like, the simple math in my head for that is like 8 times 100,000 is 100 years. 100,000 becomes fertile at age, stays fertile until number of offspring per pregnancy.
No really italks, can you explain calculus are need a clear?
Do they have population control measures as a society? Yes, Elvis. Love is very, very prominent. 90% of the time, you only have a kid with someone that you love. Because sex and procreation, because of eggs, are two separate things. And this is like a genetic modification, right? Basically, they can fuck, and it has no effect on the eggs, unless, like, it's kind of, like, done together. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain period of time that, like, the sperm is active, so it's like, if you don't lay your eggs within, like, a week of getting fucked, your eggs aren't fertile. And it's like, you don't have to lay your eggs, like, I don't know if there's a may I ask, what is the diagram? It assumed a starting population with a balanced age distribution, but yeah, it makes sense. Okay, this is the basic math to me, Levi, is per person, right? Per lifetime is a fold of 8. Or no, it's a fold of 4, sorry, because it's 2 people make 1. The picture on paint. What is it, please? Oh! This is the crystalline tree. This is my terrible drawing. So, this is what the crystalline tree is. It's what they live in. And it's a tree made out of pure consciousness, like crystallized consciousness. And it's the power of a celestial being, so it's literally insanely healing. And this is...
OMG, I feel like the only dumb dude who don't listen the teacher's work.
This, like, black... is where people live inside of the tree, versus the rest of the tree that isn't, like, hollowed out, essentially. to show that, like, they are a small portion. Like, this is all of the society basically is here. And then there's, like, a little bit more up here where the palace is and stuff, but it's, like, super small. It's just really high up. So it's, like, their percentage of it is extremely low.
Nah bro, you trolling me? It talks or you don't want to explain me?
Valiant Boy, what do you want me to explain? Does it have variable climates within it? No. It is always set to a specific temperature, which is dictated by the sun overhead and the lava underneath. It can raise and drop in temperature by about 8 degrees, but it's not significant. That's basically the only way, other than, like, the changing of the, like, the color of the light slightly, that it's daytime. Is because the lava the way that the light reflects because of the lava underneath and the sun over top.
Bro, I asked you the context of the calculs that you make since 3 times.
Valiant Boy, the calculations are the population of the tree. We're trying to figure out within a certain amount of time how big does it fuck up. Yeah, Grok
Perfect, bro.
fucked this time just saying depends on some underlying assumptions, but 97 or 146. In the final rendering, you can make it look even more brain, like, to represent the consciousness, like, could be epic. That is a very good idea, Presley. I love that. I love that. 97 for normal, 146 is for Elon. LMAO. I'm only fucking up the prompts because I'm not being very precise. The roots of the tree could be a maze, like... Okay, so you guys know that cities are built in the construct of a human brain, right? Like the idea of how roads are separated into blocks, how there's, like, the residential area, urban area, industrial area, as if it's a different parts of the brain. Literally, cities are designed the exact same as brains. So is the center of the tree like a soup? No, it's just crystal. So imagine a very malleable, like quartz. It's basically like quartz. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's like quartz. It's malleable, it's easy to work with, it's structurally sound if like made in the correct way, like refined in the correct way. And it could technically be used in the way I posted a relevant Grok quote in the Discord. Since the reproductive period is long and the birth rate per female is low, the growth is not explosively exceptional.
Too much information.
Like
Sorry, I am the bot, and I am just
with
asking
higher
you if I can ban Valium. He's talking too much, this MFK.
Annual reproduction. Let's estimate using a discrete model over time. The black bit you highlighted. So the vein they live in, what is it? Oh, it's mined out. Like, originally the monarch had a machine that mined out the tree when it started to grow. And he just kept mining. And the tree is up in the leaves in the palace. And it's old technology. And no one knows that it's there because no one can get into the canopy above the palace. Because to them, there's nothing above the palace but the canopy. And the canopy is just there as, like, a mediator. Also, I made a mistake not saying per mating pair, and it thought it was 8 per individual. This time it's saying 450 years. Not sure if it's math this time either. Alright, sounds good. Valiant Boy, don't attack yourself! Valiant Boy is a bot. Valiant Boy is definitely a bot. 100%. But it was mined out, and then eventually when the monarch mastered magic and learned how to basically dissolve the tree into, like, a pulp, and then they basically, like, suck the pulp out of the inside of the tree, as if you would carve out the inside with, like, a grinder, and then they manufacture that through magic, some magical means. You know, it used to be technology. Now the technology that was in the top of the tree that doesn't do this anymore, they moved it up there because of how you travel through the tree. And the way that you travel through the tree is, imagine being able to sink into the ground and it envelops you in your own singular bubble, and then using consciousness because the tree. So think of the tree as a living, breathing organism that doesn't know how to control its consciousness, but its consciousness is like infinitely powerful. So if you can direct your mind to control, so what is in the black bit? The black bit is what's hollowed out. The rest of the tree that's, let's say this is blue. Oh, fuck. Oops. Let's put a... Blue is the entirety of the tree. And the black is just what's hollowed out. So then we can just kind of make this white. If that's a better representation. I was editing what I wrote. Sharp! Yo, sorry I'm late. Welcome, welcome. No worries, bro. We are still in the middle of a react, and we're talking about population control on a day that we're supposed to be talking about magic. But, I mean, magic plays a very big role in this. Alright, I've looked over the math, and I at least believe Grok. Wouldn't bet my life on it, but still. So you believe that from 100,000 it could be within 600 years there's the possibility that it only has 2 million population, right? Because we're not talking like everyone's not having a family, right? Like I said, like the culture is very much a you fall in love with someone, then you have children with them. But you pretty much fuck whoever you want. Because it's not taboo to fuck around. It's almost encouraged because then you won't become an adventurer. But I really think we should get back to writing. So, what the fucking tangent, guys? There's a lot of variables for reproduction. The gender ratio, such as humans, two males to 3 females on average, though women can technically reproduce 13. We don't consider them adults until 18, and they stay fertile till roughly 65, ovulate once per month. Gestation is 9 months. Yep. And our population has expanded over, what, 20,000 years to 7 billion. So from, like, yo, G, check the new stuff I wrote. This has been genuinely fascinating. Sean and Levi poking you hard. It's good. I want to see if the flow is good. Yeah, sure thing, Sharp. We should finish this react, though. Let's just go through it. Okay, guys? We're just going to go through it. We've pretty much explained most things I think of. We're just going to use examples and see how good our stuff stands up to it.
And zinc and...
4,460,000 after 600 years, pretty reasonable. Also, I understand the formula now. Okay, Levi, and now minus 25% of that, and say 25% of that went out to be an adventurer, and then 80% of that 20% that left died. So the population would roughly be 3.5 million.
Tin. It's based around metals on the periodic table. Using tin can sharpen your senses. Iron allows you to pull on metals that are nearby. It is an elemental magic system, sure, but again, its design and how it's used in the story does not feel familiar in the slightest. I tend to find that new and interesting elemental setups all have...
Oh, I just realized how to say this all in one sentence. This entire thing. My magic system is based off of science. Without an understanding of the actual world and how the actual world works, magic is almost useless. Boom. Magic summed up in my world. If it just kept going, it'd be a problem, but the time scale and rate of reproduction are both small enough that it's unproblematic. Well, think about this also, Levi. Think about this. In 600 years, they carved out this without even trying. In 600 years... the tree is going to be so large that it would cover everything. So they could carve out this and have like 13 trillion people. The tree will just continue to grow. And this is Anima's plan. Because, like I said, he wants to have as much population as possible. So he wants, like, billions of creatures on the bottom of the ocean, billions of creatures on land, billions of creatures in the atmosphere. Because he needs as many life forms as possible, as much consciousness as possible. It's a world tree reaching to the stars made out of crystalline substance that is crystallized. Foot redeemed! Toe connoisseur! Okay, so Toe, I don't know if you were here after what happened last night. So do you know what happened? I'm gonna take my toke, and we're gonna be in a tangent again. One of the main things I based it on is... Whoops. Hunter x Hunter. Remember, this is just a sapling. Oh my god, it just will not give me the image, will it?
Finally.
Oh shit!
Come on, Speedy.
Oh shit! Oh shit, my god!
Wow. He's really on there good.
No, Speedy! Not Speedy! How could you? Me when I see them piggies. Thank you so much for the subscription, Toe Connoisseur! Oh my god, that's amazing! Welcome, welcome. Holy shit, bro. Thank you so much. So again, I don't know if you know what happened, but I've been berating Valium Boy, and for the last couple of... Yes, he subbed. No, thank you for the Toe Show. Oh, no worries. Those are staying up. Those are staying up, bro. Remember, the next full moon. Hold on, guys. We gotta find out. When is the next full... Okay, I'm not doing this here because this might show my location. Okay, guys, we have a date. May 12th. Yeah, May 12th. Guys, write it down on your calendars. Everyone, write it down now. My favorite
I
moon
do
phase
before I
is
leave a
Waxing
number.
Gibbous. Always thought that's be a fun band name. Waxing Gibbous. True Toe Connoisseur. It talks before I leave a number. Wait. Yes, he subbed Valium Boy. Sorry, what were you saying, Valium Boy? What did I miss? He subbed. Oh, I don't think I missed anything. Between 1 and 100. Alright. Okay, guys. Number between 1 and 100. Let's go. $53! Please don't wax gibbons. They need their fur. 53, Valiant Boy. It's 53. But yeah, we based the World Tree off of the World Tree. Still desperate for attention, I see, Valium. Yeah, sure, Valiant Boy. 83, even though it was on screen. I like 83 better than 53, so 83. Sure, 83. 53, I'm so dumb. Yeah, there you go, Valiant Boy. That's better. There you go. Anyways, so... Toe Connoisseur, Valiant Boy is no longer a moderator because he banned you yesterday. I am so sorry that he banned you. That is not appropriate. I apologize, good sir. I don't condone his behavior. I have been telling him forever. He stepped over the line again. He's still an artist. He's still an editor. Assume all Frenchies have no emotional regulation. See, now this is the kind of banter that we're talking about, guys. We do this all the time to Valiant Boy because he's French. We make fun of Valiant Boy because he's French. Now let me post something to you guys.
Elmo bro, that's nothing. I laughed a lot. Let's stop talking about that.
Okay. If you don't want me to make fun, like if I make fun of you for something that's sensitive... Tell me not to make fun of you for it. But you have to do it, like, in a serious way. Or I'll just think you're bantering back. But if you're like, no, dude, too far, line, don't do that. I'll be like, oh shit, okay, sorry.
Thank you so much,
you know,
Valium Boy Twitch. Your
because I
support
like
is much
the
appreciated.
Chad Stoic
Less than
Kiwi
4,
Levi
less than
versus
3
the
plus
Virgin
1.
Emotional Frenchie. Oh my god, I couldn't imagine what the stream was. I gotta go watch the VOD on my weekend or something.
53 extra.
Shut the fuck up and take your 53 cents. Thank you, Valium Boy, for the 53 cents. You are truly a great, amazing, beautiful person, and I value you significantly. I don't know why you would ever think that I don't value you. I just don't think that you have the tenacity to be in a position of power. When we batter bread with spiced egg wash and cook it on a griddle, we call it French toast. I'm honestly curious, aside from trash, what do you call it in France? I feel better, and sorry for yesterday if I hurt someone, sorry. No worries, Valiant Boy, it's all good. It's all good, brother. But we gotta get back to the React.
Unifying theme, like the Dragon Prince and Mistborn.
I wasn't
aren't
hurt
just
because I don't
different for
respect
the sake of
you.
it. I once read a story by a friend of mine where they chose kinetic, shadow, sound, and light.
See what I mean, guys? This is just how we talk.
As their
Oh
four
my
elements.
god.
It was distracting how obviously they were just trying to be different from the original 4 or 5. There was no uniting theme to those powers, and they didn't add
Oh, hell
enough
nah,
to the
bro
world
is
or
playing with
characters
my
to
nuts.
be worth the awkwardness. I mean,
What the
readers
fuck?
notice this kind of stuff. If you're just trying to be different, don't call it wind, energy, nature, and ice. Don't just be different for the sake of being different.
True.
Be different.
Make a
and
poll.
be
Will we or
clever.
will we
And
not make
unifying
it through the
themes really
video?
help with that.
All this shit cause of a toe.
Ooh, it's true.
Roasted by a toe.
It's true. It's true. How do I do a poll? Guys, how do I do a poll? Because I know I can do one on Kick, but I don't remember how. How do I do a poll? It usually works here. You need the dashboard. You'll get through it or fall asleep trying. We'll get through it or fall asleep trying. Ask your moderator. I have no idea. Smokey, if Smokey was here, because Smokey did a poll on Kick, which said, "Who's your best
If you want
moderator?"
to find a poll, just walk north for an hour. The north one should be right there.
CNRKS or one wings.
Oh my God, Sean! What the fuck, guys? What's going on? Thank you for the subscription.
69 gifted a tier 1 sub to CNRKS or 1. They have given 3 gift subs in the channel.
Oh my God, you guys! Eggy Mayo, wait! Thanks for that gift. It was Eggy Mayo. Eggy Mayo gave Sean his wings. So Eggy, you still hate me, or are you relaxing? I mean, I can make a poll, but not without mod. Oh, does that mean you want to be my new mod, Sharp? I'm not implying anything, but I can help, yeah. Is Sharp a Valium main? I know, right? It's coming full circle. It's, to be clear, I had the free funds. Had I the free funds, I'd have subbed ages ago. Sean, don't worry about it, man. Will we make it through the video? Will we make it through this 14-minute video? Or will we fail?
I'm gonna actually go grab a drink real quick. Will you guys do that? I will be right back. Will you figure that out? Also gonna open the window because god damn, it's freaking. Look at this shit, guys. It's fucking 27 degrees in here. 27 degrees Celsius. And that's like by the window. That's not even in the middle of the room. Like, holy fuck. Too much electronics. Too many lights. It's like a freaking studio in here. Drink. Alright, be right back. All right.
Hitoxegi ban me xddd.
There, done normal poll. I'm back just in time? Alright. What did I miss? Why are you so desperate for acknowledgement from me? Maybe say something worth responding to. I mean, Team Doubter, we got this. I think you'll finish, but I don't care that I'm gonna lose. Has Sharp Spear banned Toe? Nearly 80 F. Wow. Correction. Well, we make it through the last 4 minutes of the video. True. I set a gambling poll, which was a mistake. Is that something different? But again, I just want to say, guys, thank you so much for, like, the subs and stuff, everyone. Like, Eggy, and, Sharp, and, yeah, Toe. People just wager their points. Ah! Well, we got a contest.
You here?
Whoops. I have 141,000.
Do not drink water. Do not leave your seat. Do not move your feet. Do not stretch. Do not go to the bathroom. Have another toke.
No, I don't know. I don't know
I
if there's a
tooks,
point.
I am banned.
'cause- Valium Boy? Wait, what? Wait.
By Eggy moderator.
What? I don't see any mod action. I'm so confused.
Liar.
Oh, hit him with a warning. Oh, that's completely different. I had that set up and was waiting for a calm moment to hit that wellness
Wow,
check,
fucking
and you
weird.
did it on your own. Yeah, I sent him a whisper warning from me to stop doing weird ad homonyms. Makes sense, Eggy. That's not a ban. What, like...
The worst human, I swear.
What the fuck, Valium Boy? Leave Eggy alone. Oh, I forgot to put my TV back. Hold on. So I had to move it to open the fucking window. Life's a goddamn struggle, guys. It's so hard being a fucking streamer. Why is my life so goddamn hard, guys? Streaming is so fucking hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Oh god, I'm stuck. I'm stuck! Ah! My cords are eating me! To be fair, that's not an ad hom. It's just an insult. Why did you warn him though, Eggy?
I've heard enough.
Because something has to be hard. Like my dick! I mean, what? Stick it in me butt. Big Bad Francis! Welcome, welcome. True, buddy. We just need the 8-foot-tall muscle mommy Fuda Dom and her 18-incher. And we'll be freaking coming all day. Either way, it
You
is
banned me,
very
and you were saying
tedious to read random insults when the chat is interesting. That was the point. Keep that hard, and maybe life won't be as hard. Dun dun dun! Sean is taking all the hard for me! Good point, good sir. There were no bans made. Yes, I know. I looked at the mod log to see what the mod actions were, because I have the ability to do that, but obviously Valium Boy doesn't understand. And it's like, if he doesn't understand that, what the hell was he doing being a mod? He was my very first mod. I mean, he lasted 3.5 months. Ban me, I will spank you. Ooh, Francis, don't threaten me with a good time. I don't want to ban you, but fuck, will you spank me anyways? I don't even know what you're talking about, Valiant Boy. Eggy's a paid actor. Not to flex, I work in 5 channels as mods. Good to know, Sharp. Welcome to another team. I'm not protected because I haven't done anything.
No, bro, you are not funny, I tooks. That's so disrespectful.
Wait, what? What the fuck did I say? Let me translate a sentence. Please don't ban me. I will spank your ass if you don't. Yes, John. Okay, sweet. Awesome.
He got nothing, just imagine if I do this to him. Yeah, I'm not the mod manager. I'm like the mod manager of 2 channels. Nice! Well, everyone here who's a mod was just like either kind of forced mod or asked to be mod or mentioned mod, and they were just given mod by me. Because why not make all of the viewers moderators? I don't know. If they prove they're bad actors, we just remove mod. I mean...
Weisperer top donator, he's really the worst Eggy.
True, Valium boy. True. That is a horrible decision. One will turn rogue. Well, I mean, when it's like... I've gone from 1 viewer to, like 5 to 10 viewers in, like, 3 months. So, like, I consider anyone who sticks around,
Tell
like...
him to remove that.
One did and was banning out Foot Fetish Gremlin. Banning. True. It's not funny, he's not the king, and what I said. I still want to know what France calls French toast, aside from trash, that is. I'd like to know too, Sean. I mean, it's not like we call Canadian bacon Canadian bacon. We just call ham ham and bacon bacon. But I guess in America, ham is like Canadian bacon. But it's just like a style of cut of ham. Just like it's a style or cut of steak or pork or anything like that. It's the cut itself that's important. Now play the video. Okay, so before I play the video, we gotta go back to the context of light and dark magic combining together. So
You were
you
laughing.
can combine other elements together to create light and dark separately. But you can also combine a light and a dark together to create... I don't know. But, you know, it should be the compounding of that, right? Don't play the video, I've got points on the line here. I mean... And then we read what I wrote, or I will rip out your insides and hang them for Halloween. True, Sharp. I'll take that one
Now,
seriously.
it wouldn't be a Magic Systems video without referencing Sanderson's 3 laws. Your ability
Play
to
the
solve
video.
problems with magic is proportional to how well the reader understands said magic.
Yes. If the reader doesn't understand how the magic system works, they'll think that a wizard did it. So understanding magic, just like the very first scene, how Husai casts the lock on the door. Hawaiian pizza isn't Hawaiian, it just says pineapple on it. Excuse me while I projectile vomit. at
Idux,
the
you
thought
can
of
explain me
pineapple on
what I do
pizza.
wrong again.
I'm allergic to pineapple, Sean, so I have an excuse to never get pineapple pizza. You know what everyone ever buys? Pineapple pizza. It's great, I'm just allergic to pineapples. How magic works and explaining how magic works is very important.
Magic. Limitations are more important than powers.
Yeah.
You go deeper before you add more.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the first one, they can make fire, but how much and to what degree can a character control it? I mean, you can't really weigh fire. Sometimes it's hard to communicate.
And that's where, like, knowledge and intent...
Teach to ban
and-
Eggy for liking Hawaiian pizza.
I forgot one major component here. So you know how in games and in shows and stuff, and in fantasy worlds, there's like a spell component catalyst.
I can't talk on Twitch, answer me.
I don't know what to tell you, Valiant Boy. You should be able to talk on Twitch. Refresh the page and try and talk. As far as I've seen,
That's no a joke.
you can talk on Twitch. There's nothing preventing you. You're not banned, you're not timed out, you're not anything. You have free reign to talk on Twitch.
No, you know, stop sucking Eggy.
What the
Valiant boy, why are you doing this? Completely destroying my train of thought, which I have none of to begin with. Petition to ban Eggy for liking Hawaiian pizza. We can share the kitchen sink pizza minus pineapple then. I don't
Who
see
is this guy
anything
to
that would
add me
make Val
warning?
unable to speak. Who is this guy to add me warning? He even pisses off Essentia when I didn't think that was... Wait, Eggy! Wait! This is new lore! Wait! Eggy! Valiant Boy pissed off Essentia? Wait, Twitch itself sometimes blocks an overactive chatter. I've been blocked like that. Play the video. Wait, no, we gotta hear this lore. How did he, Eggy, how did he piss off Essentia? I don't believe that. Proof or no belief, bro? That's too big of a claim. Unless that's just like satire. If that's satire, that's beautiful satire. I was watching her and he was spamming someone with creepy questions like their age, etc. Got me some popcorn. Hell yeah, Francis. Never talk about age, Valiant Boy. Age is like the taboo to talk about.
Cute Muffins
Muffin!
Radio stream with 2 viewers.
I didn't tell him to
Welcome,
touch
raiders,
grass,
to the
essentially.
stream.
Damn, Eggy. That's brutal.
Up at 5. Be outside. I don't want to have to talk to you.
Everyone needs to silence when I speak right now. True, Sharp. True. That's what the TTS is for. Eggy, state your reason for the warning.
Daddy's home.
Top 43! Nice!
Good shame.
Sharp is clearly a Valiant main or his friend. Well, I don't know. He speaks pretty good English. Welcome, everyone. How's it going?
Man, these bee people are kind of funny.
I'm speechless and you're laughing. I like to say we're all friends on some level. True, Sean. There's no animosity here. If you can't answer, then you are the one at fault. I agree with Sharp. But I think Eggy already stated why he did it. If we look up in the logs,
Okay, iTukes, we will talk on DM Discord.
yeah, I sent him a whisper warning from me to stop doing weird ad hominems. I thought it was a normal whisper. I didn't realize it was a mod one. So if no one caught on to that, this is Eggy's innocence right here. Where the fuck did it go? Here, right here. Yeah, I sent him a whisper warning from me to stop doing weird ad hominems.
What
I thought it was a
insults?
normal whisper. I didn't realize it was a mod one. Well, let's go up and see. Let's investigate. All this shit 'cause of Toe. Roasted by a Toe. I don't see Eggy saying anything. Well, that's the top of the list. I wasn't hurt because I don't respect you. That was Toe talking to him. All the previous messages made
and I can clearly see Valium is at fault. And it's like, you right, where's Monkey? So, Eggy, you still hate me, or you relaxing? No worries, you and Levi are essential to the Atox experience for me. Is Sharp a Valium main? So then he's just so Eggy's just talking about Sharp and Valium. Because it's funny. Because if you know the lore behind Eggy, you would understand this more if you knew the lore behind Eggy. I think I'm the only one who knows the lore behind Eggy.
I literally do nothing wrong.
And then he's like, I ask you a question, bro. So, Eggy is responding to Valium Boy is responding to Eggy, responding to Sean about Valium Boy saying he asked a question, because he asked if he was still hated him, even though I don't know why Valium Boy asked why Eggy hates him. Obviously, Eggy doesn't hate him. Okay. Video.
All of this, the true capabilities of your
Video.
characters to the reader. Costs such as exhaustion are common in elemental magic systems, but they are prone to feeling contrived when the character has
Wait real
just
quick.
enough energy to do what's needed because plot, or just not enough when they need to fail because plot. I think Rick Riordan, the author of the Percy Jackson...
Oh, what I was gonna say is, okay, so this is how magic works if you use too much mana. Do not pause it. God damn it. Wait, this is important. If you use the verdict is out, everything is sorted out, is a warning isn't the end of the world. Okay, we've solved it all. Thank you, Sharp. That was very third party of you. Valium can't say anything because you're just a guy who just randomly entered the chat, which was what Toad Connoisseur and me were making fun of Valium for. So it's like being a random guy in the chat is a good thing, not a bad thing. Okay, so if you use mana past your capabilities, it starts to damage your body. But you have to you can instantly break that connection. Because to me the idea is that it's like you set yourself on fire, but as soon as you think, "Oh, I don't want to be on fire anymore because it hurts," then you're not on fire anymore. So there's going to be a scene with characters that are like extremely injuring themselves by casting too much mana, and it's supposed to emphasize the concentration needed to maintain not having the thought of I don't want to be on fire anymore. I stay neutral in every argument. That makes me a great moderator. That's great, Sharp, because I try to be neutral, but I can't be as the streamer. Because everyone's just going to say, oh, I'm the streamer, so I'm obviously favoring someone, right? So it's kind of like a lose-lose. That's why I try not to get into those.
Series has a pretty good grasp on how to deal with this problem. Percy Jackson can control the element of water, but Riordan writes his stories so that Percy tends to use a certain set of abilities over and over again. This repetition allows the reader to understand his capabilities, and the problem solving in the story almost always comes down to how he can use those pre-established powers, things he has done before, to solve a different problem.
Yeah.
Consider establishing a...
I used to wonder why streamers protect their identity so much, then I met you, Valium Boy. I mean, there are crazy people out there. Like, okay, dude, there are crazy people out there who think Asmongold is a racist. There are people out there that think Asmongold is a transphobe. People out there think Asmongold is a bad guy. And if you watch Asmongold for more than 35 seconds, you'd see that he's literally Jesus telling people the truth and they're crucifying him for it. Right?
certain set of elemental skills that your characters might have, and reusing them to create a sense of consistency, helping the...
I would be unsurprised if Asmon was a racist, but also I wouldn't care. Well, I mean, like, he lives in Texas, which means, like,
so we will
in
talk
order to be a racist, he has to, like, hate, like, half of fucking Texas, and he has the money to move out of Texas. You'd think he'd move to a more white suburban area if he was a racist. Right? And we're talking, like, racist to the point of, like you wanting to kill people of a different race. Like, what about Emiru?
Oh, she's a chick, she gets a pass. Oh, she's Chinese, she gets a pass. She's Asian, she gets a pass. What about Lucari? Like, so that's why I just don't understand how it's like, when someone says that to me, it's like it's a diminishment of the word racist. Because like, you could say that very many people would say that doing this is racist, and that me using my brown accent is
God,
very, very racist.
Trippin'.
But you
Rose
know
saying
what?
I'd
All the
say
brown
what,
people that
but
I
he will
say,
stay
oh
in
no,
his place
sometimes
like
when I
me.
walk around a brown guy and I am talk too much because I know that I pick up on the accent. They're like, damn, you are pretty good at that. And I'm like, I know, I used to have a lot of brown friends. We had a good time at the mill when I worked at the mill. I don't know, white suburban areas are full of anti-racists. Surely you'd want to stick where all the racists are. Well, it's like, it's not like you're a racist or like anti-racist. It's like, I think that's just too extreme. It's like, yeah, 90% of normal people are just like, they're not, if they do something towards someone who's of a different race, it's not because of their race, it's because of something that they've done. There's no race card in it. It's like the Carmelo Anthony thing. It's like, it's not a race card that Carmelo killed that fucking kid just because Carmelo's fucking black. Everyone knows if Carmelo was white, none of this shit would have happened. Like, he'd be in jail. There would be no bond. There would be no getting out. There'd be no $500,000 of donations. There'd be no media bullshit over it. And if the kid he killed was black, somebody would have killed the fucking white kid and probably tried to kill his fucking family. So, like, are you going to be able to finish the video, G? Maybe.
The reader as well.
No idea why you're
understanding
obsessed
how
with
you
me.
solve the
True, Eggy. I
so
don't
that it
know
doesn't
either.
feel like,
A wizard did it.
I was laughing all being
with the
stable, but
second
Eggy's
law,
adds so
limitations
toxic
can come in
vibe.
any form that you want. Maybe they can only lift their body weight, or perhaps the water elemental they bargained with for their
Their
powers can be-
limitations are their understanding of the real world and spell catalysts. This is what brings in spell catalysts. So, in a normal, like, magical society system, it's like Paula Deen. She basically got canceled for admitting she used to use the N-word. Consider her age and where she grew up. If she didn't use the N-word then, she'd have been beaten for being an N-lover. Nobody cares, though. Exactly, Sean. Exactly. 'Cause you know the gambling poll needs an outcome. And I need an insight of yours. Well, at this point, Sharp, we're just canceling out writing Cryogen and playing Schedule 1. And we're going to read your thing and read Chapter 12. And then go from there, see how it is. But like I said, I have the ability to go hard tonight because tomorrow is technically my Friday. So, you know, I live in New Zealand and we can just say it. It's not politicized here. True, Levi, it's just a word. No Cryogen? I don't know, Eggy. We'll see. This has been 3 hours, almost 4 hours in a 14-minute video. Spell components. Using spell components is extremely important because they can modify how spells interact with the real world, such as using straw to ignite fire and then control the fire. So you don't need to create the fire, you create the spark, the straw burns, that creates more fire, you control the fire as it's being created, thus you don't use as much mana, so using spell
Bro
components
asking
reduces
what's
the
prob
amount
after
of
Weiss for me
mana.
for nothing.
veto their abilities at any time, or fire mages can't use their powers at night. And given the magic is often used to reinforce those character dynamics, you can think about how these limits might play into those dynamics as well.
Heroes is
What
such a
one
good
person
show.
limited in that another person isn't? What can one person do in the group that the other person can't? Finally, go deeper rather than add. This is related to a problem I mentioned at the start. Sometimes when people are running out of ideas, what do? Add a new element. Don't know how to make the magic cooler? Add a new element. Need
Yeah.
another character? Add a new element.
Yeah.
Fight scenes aren't
No.
cool enough. Add a new
No,
element.
no.
Yeah,
no.
no. Legend of Korra did not add new elements, but deepened the elements that it already had. In
Like
season
earth
3,
magic
Sakia
or
and
earth
Airbender
bending
lets
being
go
part
of
of
all his
technology,
earthly
just like
attachment
fire
and gains the ability
fire
to
was.
fly. I really liked this. It was something that played into the association Air has with spirituality and flexibility. This is about going deeper into the powers they'd already established.
I like how a plant mage could have plants pop out of nowhere, but it would be a major menacing. Carrying a potted plant of some kind allows for much less cost and much better result. Exactly, Sean. You could apply this in so many different ways. But yeah. You could have, like, a thing that makes it so that the flower is continuously in, like, season, so it's always producing seeds. So you could just instantly throw seeds out and then grow those seeds into, like, trees. And use, like, a tree. It's like earth magic, but it's tree magic, and you just control the consciousness of the seeds to grow faster. And it's like you have, like, oak seeds, and you flick, like, oak seeds at people, and they grow into, like, oak trees, and the people are, like, trapped inside of the tree as it grows around them. Or, in some cases, as such wounds, if they have a wound, it will grow through them. Like bamboo. Both of you can shut up. No one is interested in your petty fights, so stop it. It ruins the atmosphere. That's the point, Sharp, where I am getting to the point where if Valiant Boy doesn't stop and he keeps, like, spamming the chat, I will actually ban him. Because you are true, it is ruining the atmosphere. I'm trying to ignore it by not reading his messages, and I don't think it's getting across to him. I think it's making him more angry. And that's a problem. Bird Wizard, where you have plant magic, but you only use it to get seeds to control nearby birds. Bramble vines as thick as branches with 10-inch thorns. See, now you guys are thinking. That's some good shit right there. I love it. Also, Eggy, you don't need to respond to everything. Yeah, I'm at the point it's best if I leave because the chat is unreadable. Keep your cool, you're a moderator. You got this, Eggy. I believe in you, man.
So, think about it. What are some innovative and unique associations you could have with each
Hey, you're not a streamer if your chat doesn't ruin the stream, right? It's just like, yeah, if you're not a streamer if you don't have hate watchers.
of those elements, and from those associations, unique powers that might come from each of them when you go deeper throughout the story. See, going deeper also helps with Rule 1, because
Continue
it helps
the
the
stream.
readers
Itox
understand
I am
the
was
powers
just
better,
why,
and that helps
but
you solve
NP.
things in the plot more creatively. It's just great. But of course, wouldn't be a writing video without a summary for you. Firstly, originality is more about how you use the elemental idea
True.
narratively than simply having
Consciousness.
an elemental setup.
Yep.
It's common to use it as an analog for character.
How
so
each character
consider
interacts
using
with the
the
world
elements
and
for
thinks how their
theme,
magic
tone, and
works.
setting instead, rather than repeat common character
Yep.
tropes and arcs that we've seen before.
And
See-
like Sean said, I think it was Sean who said using opposite elements and like, or having like attachment to a certain spirit or something like that. Because I've been wondering how I can add in like elementals and stuff like that, and like elemental spirits, and that's a really good way to do that. And maybe the elemental spirits could be like the ancient like beings, like the Cactuars, the Kate Sith, the Moogles, Tonberries, maybe even dragons themselves.
Secondly, cultural elemental associations allow us to code characters and places with traits without necessarily exploring them that deeply.
True.
However, using common cultural associations can feel less original. Consider finding new associations and therefore expressions.
Call
of
me
your
a good boy,
elements.
please.
Thirdly,
Oh, Francis, you're such a good boy.
elemental magic systems fit perfectly with common character dynamics like the 5-man band or the power trio. You can use these elements to reflect how these group dynamics work, such as giving opposite characters opposite elements. Fourthly, elemental systems are often
Which reminds me also, the spirits choose how much they serve an individual, and they can see the true you inside. Until you can accept the true you, your power could be hampered. True. I feel molested. Never do that again. Oh shit, Sharp. You're in for it then. I guess I'll ruin it for you immediately. I posted it here. Here we go. So, everyone, remember,
Eggies act like the king were the same.
remember, the next full moon is May 12th. Whoever voted yes that you will finish the video might earn lots of points. So, on May 12th will be our next makeup stream, and we will be doing the were-woman, because we are a were-woman, and we turn into we turn into a trans on
Elmo, what is that?
on the full moon. So on May 12th will be the next makeup stream. So if you want to try and avoid it, just remember, don't come to the stream on full moons. I just finished. Oh yeah. See what my final product is. That's not too bad, right? Good to know, thank you. Not doing that. I'm a cross-dresser, by the way. We only do it like once in a while, but just to let you guys know, in case that's a deal breaker, you can get out now before you just stumble in and get completely fucked, right?
Tonally bland. Consider adding details that inform the tone and atmosphere that you want to craft.
True.
And fifthly, in creating consistency with powers, it can be helpful to establish a series of skills that the characters have and return to.
That's why we have
Limitations
this for
are
toe
important to
connoisseur.
consistency, and they can be used
So we have
to
a
inform
feet
those
cam,
character dynamics.
but we gotta get it
Consider
set
using
up.
unique
It wasn't
associations
working
in order
very
to go
well.
deeper into your element before adding
It's
details.
borderline
That is all for
on
today,
deal
people.
breaker.
Remember, brand spanking new audiobook. Go get it.
But I
Next
only
time
do
we
it
go.
on the
You
full
guys are
moon,
welcome. Stay
guys.
ready
So
and
it's
I'll
just
see you
one day that you have to avoid out of the month. Alright, that's the video. We made it through the video, guys. By the way, this is the channel Hello Future Me. Amazing channel. This is their on writing playlist.